click, buy, deliver. With remote purchasing from the 2-time Motorcycle News Dealer of the Year, Colchester Kawasaki. Proud sponsors of Chasing the Racing.
3, 2, 1, and welcome back to Chasing the Racing, episode 119. And we're delighted to be joined.
Back at that shit, are you?
Delighted to be joined at long last by international road racing star
Peter Hickman,
and current British Superbike rider, the last person to win a senior TT, Dean Harrison. How are we doing, Shagger?
I'm not too bad, to be honest. It's eventually we got on me on here. A bit of a 2-hour drive for you this morning, which I didn't realise. I thought you were going straight to Anglesey from here.
I don't think it'll have been 2 hours for Dom.
I didn't think you were going to go from here to London, back to Scotland, and then here.
oh no, honestly, it's mad. I've got to actually thank my dad now. My dad, I don't know what's up with him, to be fair. He's never loaned me that bike before, and for some reason he's just gone and agreed to it.
It's an age thing. The mellow as they get older.
I'm not now. Have you met my dad?
Yes.
Yeah,
of course, he races classics.
Well, it's all one big community. This road racing paddock, and it's all. My dad, he's just lent me the bike. So the idea was we were going to come down to Anglesey. So come interview you, then cross over. But unfortunately, you've got to get the dog in the kennel, and so I'll have to go back up. So my dad's lent me the bike, and I'm just touring all around Britain at the moment. So we're here in not so sunny Bradford, thanks to the BBC weather app lying in my face.
Right.
It's just pissed down all the way over the top. I thought I couldn't believe it.
The sun always shines in Bradford. Everyone's
I like how you're sort of whispering that towards the end of that. It's always sunshine there.
Just before we started recording, we were just talking about the day job, and you've had this place for getting on like almost 2 years now.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
And for people that don't know, what do you do in between the racing?
A bit of engineering, really. Do a bit of CNC turning, milling, and things like that. Make all sorts of bits and bats. I think it's important to keep your mind occupied in between. But I've always done something. I'm not one for sitting down, you know. A bit like yourself. You're always busy, you always keep busy. You can't do nothing in between, I suppose. And going to the gym all the time would drive you mad.
What did you do before before you became into the racing scene? What job did you have? A trade or?
Yeah, believe it or not, I went to go be a bike mechanic. So I went to work a few bike shops. I did my apprenticeship with Suzuki. I left Suzuki. In fact, I got made redundant because the shop's shut. I went from there, and then I went to go work at Volvo, and I did my apprenticeship on Volvo cars then.
Oh, you did know, didn't you?
Yeah, I worked there for 5 years. Obviously, as you can see, I'm a massive supporter because I drive around in a Volvo. I did my apprenticeship on them cars, so I thought, I need a car for work, so I went and bought myself an old man Volvo estate car. You know what I mean? But then, now I've fallen in love with it, and it's like a slipper. You know what I mean?
Is Guy Martin got the really long one? Is that a Volvo?
Who's Guy?
Long.
Gaio? I don't know.
I'm sure another estate car that he's got. It's like 600 horsepower, but it looks like an old bloke's car. But
mine's not 600 horsepower.
That is a Volvo.
7.
Mine's 205, I think. Or is it 215? I can't remember what spec it is.
What age is this car?
It's 2010.
Oh, 2010. Sorry, I thought the way you're saying old car, I'm thinking 200 ponies in an old Volvo.
My car. He's got is it a P1800? But it's got a T6 engine in it. That's a different. It's another Volvo engine.
Right, there we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, where were you? Hold on, I'm trying to think. What point? So, Volvo car engineer, and then where were you racing at this point? Because you did a lot of Irish racing as well.
I was lucky. When I worked at Volvo, I used to take unpaid leave. Because obviously, you only get 22 days holiday. You get, it's like 22 days normal work. Well, you work for yourself anyway, don't you?
And now I do go racing because basically they wouldn't
you couldn't
give
get the time off. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I was getting unpaid leave, and then it got to a point where lads didn't work, so I go, well, he's getting unpaid leave. I want unpaid leave. So then Gaffer's sort of caught between a rock and a hard post. Says, I'm sorry, you can't have unpaid leave anymore. So I'm like, oh shit. So then I had to make the decision of what do you do. So then I sort of I'd race through the summer when the season were on, various road races and things like that. And then in winter, I'd just go work in a car shop. I'd go to Town Garage up in Orsworth and go mechanicking for a winter up there. And do some, because you can't, winter's a long time, you know, saying once you finish it, October season finishes.
Mm-hmm.
So once you finish in October, you've only got 2 weeks in November at Macau.
Aye.
And then you've got December, January, February, March, 4 or 5 months where you're back at work as normal.
And did you go straight into Irish road racing? Did you do like club racing or anything?
Yeah, no, I did some club. I actually won a club championship.
Did you?
When I was in the day.
What did you sat down before you said that?
What did you start on?
I had a CBR 600. That's the littlest bike I've ever ridden.
Really?
But I didn't start racing till I was 19.
Right.
18, 19. I didn't start racing.
Right.
And then just straight into, what was it like?
I just bought a CBR 600. I had a road, but what actually happened was, to start the story off, rewind a little bit. I had to obviously pass my bike test at 17, so I could get a bike, and then I got a little VFR 400 for the road. I got knocked. I had it like 2 weeks. Got knocked off on the way home from the bike shop I worked at. Wrote the thing off. Then when I got my insurance payout, that's how I bought my first racing bike. And I would have been 18, 19 after I'd got it all sorted out.
And you went, and you decided to go for a
I
CBR
literally
600.
Well, the problem is I bought a stock 6 because for me to run any other bike, when you buy yourself, what are you going to do? Whereas you could get a 600, just press on and start.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And it's just easy.
And before that, did you never have an opportunity when you were growing up? Like, did your dad never like sort of look to push you into racing as a kid or anything?
No.
Was it because do you know what I mean? Usually from like racing heritage, racing stock.
Yeah, no. But the thing is, with my dad, he was just that busy racing sidecars himself. Because he were doing that and he was concentrating doing what he sort of doing. I went along, don't get me wrong, but I had a field bike and stuff, but I never did like motocross, schoolboy motocross or competitive any sort of level. I never raced. Did
you always have like growing up through the paddock? Did you always have your eye and think, oh, one day I would love to do this? Or...
I always wanted to do the Isle of Man because as a kid, you see, I've been at the Isle of Man every year since '93. Obviously, because my old man that it's changed a bit now. Because when I was younger, like now you've got to get so many signatures for your license.
Yes,
it didn't used to be like that.
No.
So my old man only used to go do, let's say, he might do Scarborough, a Southern, and TT. So I just go road race. There were no like, then there were a Cadwell and stuff in between, maybe. Do you get what I mean? So there were no like, I didn't go
only if you were desperate.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There were no like I did do some short circuit with, but there were no like British Championships and things like that. We did still do. He did do British Clubmans, I think he did, and stuff like that, but with sidecars. Mm-hmm. But you just when you're 8, 9, 10, 12 years old, you're in your own little world of just going around playing sort of thing. I never sort of thought, right, I want to go race this bike. But once they got like 14, you think, oh, I want to go do the Isle of Man.
Aye, it just started clicking in.
So that's it.
Hold on, did your dad was a solo pilot as well? Because your brother raced. Now was your brother?
No, my dad's always been. My dad actually started sidecar passengering.
Right, I thought he was.
He passengered for my granddad, who also raced sidecars. So my granddad raced sidecars, and then my dad passengered for him for a bit, and then he started to drive sidecars himself.
Right. So was your brother racing before you then? I'm just trying.
No, my brother started after me. I started.
And your brother's
4 years older.
All right.
So he'd have been 24 or something, will he, when he started? 23.
Right. And only because he saw you bombing around on the bike.
Because I did a bit of crack. Went to Elvington Airfield. Remember Elvington?
I never actually been.
You've been to Elvington?
No, I've heard about it. It's near York, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah, you literally turned up at. That was my first ever race. I turned up at an airfield.
Yeah. Have you ever been round East Fortune, by the way?
I've been, but I've never been round.
Because we did a podcast not too long ago. We didn't even know where it was, man. It was mid.
Right, no, I have been. I have been to East Fortune with her, but I've never raced round there.
So you like that's mad to believe. So you've grown up literally from day one on the Isle of Man every year with your dad, like proper old school.
That's like what then, yeah.
That's meant like because he's literally like that's how I grew up, but he's a lot faster than me. So
do you know you going back to your first ever race? Was it an instant like soon as you came home from your first meeting? Did you know that like it had sort of scratched an itch and you wanted to?
I did it because I like doing it. I never in my wildest dreams thought, right, that's it, I'm going to go win the Isle of Man.
Really?
I wanted, it's something I wanted to do. I want to go do the Isle of Man. So you think, right, what can I do to get it? So I did a few club meetings. Then I did as little race as possible to get to Scarborough. Because when I was a kid, I remember the wooden fence at Scarborough and they've got the little squares. Mm-hmm. I remember not being tall enough to look over the wood. No, so you'd look through the squares, and like for some reason it was in me. I'm like, oh, I have to race here, because when that's all you see, mm-hmm. It almost just sets itself in your head, doesn't it? It's like an impression, regardless of what else is going on in the world. And I'm like, oh, I've got to do that. So I did that, and then after that I went to Irish road racing. As soon as I got my national licence, I did Scarborough. Then rode for Billy, did Irish road racing.
Hold on, Billy McKinstry.
Yeah, did all that, and then I did the TT. I was 22 when I did the Alamo.
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't go to the Manx?
No,
you went straight to TT.
Right. I'd only raced for 4 years and went straight to TT.
Hold on, didn't you win the senior support championship in Ireland?
No, I won a lot of races, but I only did like 3/4 of the season. I didn't do the full championship. I missed Cookstown, and then I crashed at Killer Lane. I think it was called Killer Lane.
Oh, I remember that. The yellow bike, wasn't it?
I crashed on an R6, and then I could have won the championship that day, but they wouldn't let me race this or no. you're not racing. So they wouldn't let me because they said I was too injured. But anyway,
Right.
And
So
you know,
what-
when you did take the plunge and start, say, like going over to Ireland and doing Irish road racing, was that?
I went over by myself in my car.
I was just about to say, was that ever a thing with your dad? And like, how was your dad supportive of it? Was he
Yeah,
like
he came
involved?
out. My dad came to me first one. My dad came out, went to go do bush. So my mum goes, "Oh, I'll come with you." So me and my dad went over and did the bush one. And then he came to a couple. Him and my mum came to another one in Southern Ireland. And then the other ones I did in between, I just sort of travel over. I used to drive my car to Stranraer, get on the boat, and then meet somebody at the other end. They'd take me there, do the race, come back, get on the boat, drive home.
Was that a paid ride? No, sorry. I mean, did you pay to ride that bike, or was Billy just going?
No, I
"Here's
didn't.
a bike."
It didn't cost me anything to ride it,
Right.
but obviously it just cost me to
Obviously,
get
the
there.
travel. Oh, right. Bloody hell. Mint.
That was
So
it.
how did you and Billy, like, how did that relationship just start then?
First time I went to Scarborough, I won the B final.
Ah.
So he rang me up and said, "Oh, do you want to come and do some Irish support?" I went, "Yeah, right then."
Literally as clean as that. So
That's
you
it,
had
simple
no
as that.
ambition to go over to Ireland. So which ones haven't you done in Northern? Not even
The only
Northern
one I had was
Ireland.
Tandagee.
You
So every
haven't done
time I went
Tandagee?
over, it was cancelled. No, like it was cancelled, and the year it'd be on, I'd be doing something else, and it just always fell that it was that, wouldn't you?
What's your favourite out of all of the Irish national races?
I like Armoy's a good one.
Armoy
You
is,
like- you
mate.
like Armoy,
Oh,
yeah.
I love Armoy.
Yeah, that's a
Wait,
good
aye.
one. That's not like the smaller nationals. Yeah,
Yeah.
Armoy's probably a good one.
I'm trying to
Everyone says Tandagee's really good, but obviously it's always fallen when I haven't been able to get there.
I was about to say, because
Yeah.
Tamragee is mint. I've only done it the once, but it's one hell of a track, like,
Yeah.
without a doubt. So,
No.
is that something we're going to see Dean Harrison doing in the future? Kind
Yeah,
of
no, I
thing?
will. I'd love to go back over there. I'd do some now, but it's just time, innit? I can't. We're doing the BSB with silicone. It's so difficult to be able to do everything you want. I'm doing BSB now, and to be given an opportunity to do BSB isn't something that everyone gets, is it?
Exactly.
So I think I'm fortunate, and luckily Clarissa's given me and the team an opportunity to go, right, you do that and we'll concentrate on that. And it does make you faster for doing the TT. It's a fact. Doing that, mate, you know yourself, you did Alton Park Supersport and you've done a couple of different ones. You know how competitive it is. Obviously, you're a Superstock champion. You know how competitive it is this year, so it just drags you on.
Mm-hmm.
It's frustrating sometimes because I feel like I could do better at it, if you know what I mean. You're like trying to find that bit all the time, and it's good.
Okay, well, let's jump down that rabbit hole then, because you had a top 10 at Donington Park.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Now, where were you sitting up to that point? You know what I mean? You were struggling to get into the
Now, I thought I was 14 probably in race one.
14th, you know what I mean? So you
I score points like that. I'm always, I'm not a million. It's just, it's like, oh, innit? You are a million mile off. That you're not a million mile off.
From
you
like the sidelines, I think you've made a massive step.
Massive?
Obviously, you missed last year, but you've made a massive step from the year before.
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of your, like, if you looked at your lap times in compared to Superstock lap times,
Yeah.
you've made a big step, and you're doing like, I mean, we were just talking before about the sort of lap times that you'd like in the 27s at Cardwell, which is unbelievably impressive. Real good lap times at Donington, like, everywhere this year. Really, it's been
Donington. My dry pace were quite good. I had a really good dry pace. I just could never piece my lap together.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I can do that, and my ideal's like even quicker than I'm going.
When you're talking about just getting in the points as well, as if like sort of playing that down this year
This is
to be
British.
just getting in the points, there's been like sort of around Brooksy, Kyle Ride, like absolutely top class riders, world class riders, or if the bike setup's tiny bit off, they're sort of around that area. So to be sneaking points at BSB and like a top 10 and an 8th at Donington is
Come on, son.
I just get frustrated because you always want more, don't you?
It's
when
racing, innit?
you know what I mean? You're like, fuck. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's one of them, but I do get frustrated, to be honest. I get a bit disheartened about it sometimes. I think,
Yeah, but that's called competitive nature,
Yeah, I
man. You
suppose,
wouldn't be
yeah,
a good
because
racer without it.
it look like sometimes when you want a bike to do something and you don't know, you're like trying to explain to your team, I want it. You try to make it better for you, but it's hard to relay it across sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like that's something I struggle with a little bit.
I was about to say, with having a year out as well, bearing in mind.
It was hard coming back. I've sort of,
But you've come back faster. What's
have, yeah.
changed in your mind to do that? I know it'd be quite hard to put a finger on it. But
yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I think it sounds daft, but because obviously you're so engrossed in doing your road racing, aren't you? You come and like you come in, you drop in, you do maybe 1 or 2 rounds, you go do your road racing again.
Yeah.
And whereas this year I've concentrated on it a little bit more, and I still feel like I'm lacking something.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I feel like I generally feel that there's more there to be had from it, and I don't know.
I think the advantage of doing, say, British Championship, it gives you, like, say, if you were just doing road racing and you were at a high level, but you wanted to make a step, you would be searching for tenths by, like, say, trail braking a little bit further into a corner, and sort of taking risks on the front, like asking more out of the front end in certain places. But with lampposts and walls,
but road racing, you don't ride like that.
Go on. You tell us how do you ride then?
You don't. The road racing style is completely different. I ride. I wouldn't ride. It ain't completely different, no, but I wouldn't apply. I can't explain it. It's just different.
The point I was going to make is by doing British Championship, it gives you a chance to like try things.
Yeah, it does.
Sort of refine your skills in a safer environment.
You learn a lot with a bike as well.
In terms of bike setup.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because like you've got to think, if you're going around Cadwell Park or Alton Park, you're going over the jumps and things like that. There's information that will transfer across, I think.
Yeah.
So that's a valuable part of it, massively.
And just like bum and seat time as well, I think.
Which bike fitness? Mm-hmm. You could be the fittest man in the world. Like you could go cycle. I could cycle for hours and hours and hours cycling around, but then you do. If you just did that all the time, you didn't ride a bike for 6 months. Mm-hmm. You get back on a bike after the first day, and you'd be like, "I'm knackered here," because you're just not physically your bike fit. You need to be doing it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. No, I'm just sitting in and soaking this up. No, it's all about learning for me. It's interesting because you hear a lot of lads going, they put percentages on, like. Mate,
if somebody riding and everyone does 90%, don't they? Well, you just get an idiot to do 95 and win. It's a load of bollocks. You set off on that line and you try as hard as you can.
Of course
you try as hard as you can, and I try as hard as I can. Mm-hmm. Right? But it's when you finish the race, it's the information you come back with to process to make you feel faster the next time.
Right, there we are then. Because I'm 100% agreeing with you. Does everyone do you ride 90? But do a bollocks? I am trying.
I know everyone goes out and goes as fast as they can, don't they?
Do you know? Like I'd imagine. I've never done it myself, but I'd imagine the buzz that you get from pure road racing, especially the TT, is second to none. When you do, say, British Championship, you race at Cadwell Park, for example. Does it feel a bit flat in comparison?
Intense.
It feels more intense.
It's intense, isn't it? 'Cause it sounds daft, right? The best way to describe it, in the Isle of Man, it'd be 2018, I think. When we used to do the Saturday, there used to be a Saturday practice on. It was 600 only. Do you remember that one?
They were
the weather, right, one day on the Saturday were absolutely, literally perfect blue. There wasn't even a cloud in the sky.
You and Hutchie did 6 laps.
Yes.
6 laps on first night.
Right, so it was like, you couldn't get better weather, right? And it was like when you can see Scotland from the Isle of Man. It's that clear, right? And I went out and I did 6 laps, so 2 laps tank of fuel, 2 laps tank of fuel, 2 laps tank of fuel, right? And you couldn't. There's no words that can describe just riding around your bike. It's first practice. Nothing matters. There's no stress, no pressure. The last 2 laps, because everyone were blowing out their arse because they'd already done 4. There were barely a bike on the track. I saw nobody. Right, for literally 2 laps on track, and you're just riding around in your own space. And I always try and do a lap time by myself, because if you can do it in the Isle of Man, you've realised you're setting off you're in no man's land, aren't you? Mm-hmm. There's nobody to chase. There's nobody to use them as a gauge. You're doing your own thing. Do you know what I mean? Mm. Whereas when you go short circuit riding, you all set off. It's literally like a bull rodeo. Right, and there's a load of red flags everywhere, and you wait, and then they lift the flag at the end, and everyone just goes mental. Do you know what I mean? You're like, and everyone wants to crash into you. Do you know what I mean? You're just like, even like the way people ride on the one that went. They don't just want to. Some riders do. Don't get me wrong. Like Dan Linfoot, if Dan passes you, you can almost get a bike between you and him because you can see he has respect for other riders on the track. Mm-hmm. Do you know when people? But you get other riders on there that when they pass you, there's room for them to give you room. They just don't want to.
Yeah,
they almost just come past and they're resting you near, and you're thinking, what are you achieving by doing this? I don't understand it.
On that topic, obviously,
you know about pushing people off. I think I saw you. You pushed somebody off at Cadwell at All Bens at the weekend. I was stood there watching that, and I was like, what a twat.
Really?
Honestly, he pushed it, lad smashed his bike to bits. He went up the inside of it at All Bens. It's across the ground. I'm like, well, that were a bit out of order. That's how you describe a BSB short circuit. You there.
Yeah.
That is it. Mm-hmm. So you need to give us your view on events.
For that?
Yes.
I did actually run through that on the last podcast, but
yeah,
basically
I didn't listen to that.
Yeah, it isn't actually out yet, to be fair.
Oh, right, okay.
So And I'll give him another shout out. The lad's called TJ Toms.
I would like to apologise again to TJ.
No, I did. I went.
Fair enough, no.
do you
We
know
all
what?
make mistakes.
I went to see him afterwards, and I mentioned this on the last one as well. He went so far up in my estimations because I didn't really know the kid. I went round expecting a bit of a.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna, him and his dad and team maybe gonna sort of give us a bit of grief for it, and I would have just said, "Look, I'm like really sorry," and explain my side, sort of thing, and could not have been any more like nice, and just said, obviously he knew I wouldn't have done it on purpose. And
Were you going for a lap time?
yeah, it was qualifying. It was the last 3 minutes of qualifying,
And
and I'd nailed the first two sectors.
Was
caught
that your
him on the
fastest lap?
mountain. I was up on that lap,
Oh.
and then basically what happened was, and I didn't know this because I went to apologise, and he said it wasn't actually my fault. The lad that crashed,
Alright.
TJ, he said as he came over the mountain, somebody came out of pit lane, a slow rider, so the blue flags came out, so he kind of half knocked off, and it sort of left him in no man's land. And obviously I was on a hot lap, went underneath him, and he lifted up, went on the grass and crashed. But so yeah, like I said, I apologised at the time. But I was gonna ask you, because it is quite topical at the moment, about, especially in superbikes, especially at Donington, they were talking about it on the TV a lot about sort of lack of respect between riders.
I don't know why.
Have you seen the change in track
you
this
can,
year?
Yeah, you can visibly see it on TV, can't you?
Yeah.
You don't have to be riding the bike. You can see it from the outside looking. But I don't know why.
What do you think's
Why?
causing it?
Why do you need? I don't know. It like Glenn apologised on the start line the other day for waving his hand when Christian fell off.
Yeah.
Why? Why would you? Why wave your hand to start with? I just don't understand the. I can understand if you've got grief off track or things like that, but you almost feel you need to contain it and don't show it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know because I'm not in that situation. So it's difficult to split blue about upsetting somebody or somebody saying, "No, you shouldn't have said this and shouldn't have said that," and getting tickled at, which I can't be asked with.
Yeah.
Right? Do you know what I mean? So I don't know why they're doing it, and I don't think I can't see why it'd make you faster.
Yeah.
Do you?
And not at all.
The aggression side of it.
Yeah. By passing somebody disrespectfully, why does that make you faster?
No.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it would be something to do with mind games? If you were chasing a championship kind of thing? No, in your opinion. It's a bit.
I get what you're saying. No, it does make sense. I get that. No, I totally do. That could be it. But I mean, it's not even that, is it? Because no one's pushing or hollering off.
Can't get near him.
No one can catch him, I don't think.
But
Yeah,
I'm saying he's at the front, right? This is happening sort of like from third, like around sort of mid pack, not mid package, but like in a bunch that's all close. It's not like the front three almost. I don't know.
I would say it is mainly the superbike class this year. I haven't, like, in both super stock classes and the lower classes. I don't think it's changed from the past.
I think you're right. No, it's the same. Yeah.
I would say from personal experience this year, it's been super stock been very like sort of respectful.
Yeah.
Like,
but you can see that.
99% of the passes on track.
Well, look like Hutchie took Mossy out the weekend.
Complete mistake.
He didn't mean to do it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? He even apologised. Sorry, I didn't. First time took somebody out, and I didn't really do it. Mossy, yes, don't worry about it. Takes it on the chin, and that's fine. And that's just done and forgotten about.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. Because, like I said, nobody. Well, you hope nobody intentionally takes anybody out, because that's not fair, is it? There's no need for that. But in the Superbike, there has been a bit of argy-bargy. But
have you ever had any sort of accidental run-ins with anyone, either at the teat, like road racing?
Yeah, I once crashed into Michael Rutter at Parliament Square, but that was by accident. I apologise to him.
Oh, gee, no. Let you. Hey,
I came up the inside of it. It's almost like he released the brake. When you watch it on the camera, it's almost like I get on here and he just goes woot, and I went aha, and I thought I braked and just clipped the back of him. But you don't. We don't fall off road. Both stayed. We wouldn't. Well, it'd been like a stupid fall and you side crash. You're only doing about 20 mile an hour out here at Parliament Square, so it'd been embarrassing more than else. But no, that was it. But Michael's been in the game long enough now that he'd done. I said sorry and he was fine. That was it. But that was years ago, 2017, something like that.
Jesus, what have been? So, what was your first dabble into British then? You were Super Sport, was it?
I did. Yeah, because I didn't do a short series of yonks. I did 4 super. I went to go ride for.
I was about to say we'll have to go back
Silicon,
a little bit.
2016. Then I did at the end of 2016. I did 4 super sport rounds. Then the year after, I did 4 super stock rounds. And then I did Superbike. That was it. But I didn't go do loads of Superbike. I just did with the Superbike we had for the roads. I'd go do an odd round in between the roads. And that was it.
Can you explain why those choices were there. So why Supersport? Then he thought, right, well, let's go from there to that.
I don't know. It's like a team thing.
All right.
Yeah, the team's like, well, we'll do this, we'll try that, and it sort of spiraled from there, and now we're doing what we're doing now.
Right. Oh no, I just thought, maybe Supersport, let's see how we get on, then think, right, actually we need a bit more big bike time. And was it literally those decisions?
You're probably right, yeah, because when we, it's like road racing, you ride yourself, you can ride a 600 a sock, so it's always different. So I suppose it's good to just ride each bike.
Aye.
It's like, we've got the news at X10 that you're on at work now. It's never turned a wheel. I says, I wouldn't mind taking it out. Let's go to a stock round as well on it one weekend. Mm-hmm. Just for some, the bike's getting built at the minute. It's never turned a wheel. Why not see what it's like at a stock round just to have a roll out on it?
I was about to say, I think I've asked this question before. There's nothing stopping a superbike lad jumping on an extra class, is there?
No. The people have done it before. You can do 2 classes if you want, yeah. So
that would be good to see.
Yeah,
that would be good to see. You
hard
doing
work.
both of them. Oh, it would be hard
I'm
work.
old now. You see.
Do you have
Shut up, man.
Do you have a twin as well?
No, I got a twin. No.
And is that for any particular reason?
A lot of it's just time, innit? When like with practice and stuff like that in the Isle of Man, you only get so much practice, and when you've got 3 bikes, and you're jumping between 3. Just to chuck another in the equation just makes life even harder, really. Mm-hmm. And if you get, if they sometimes run the twin practice first, don't they?
Yeah, they tend to put it out at the same time as with the 600s.
Yeah, exactly. But if you go out on a twin and break down and you can't get back, your whole night's ruined.
You know that year you're on about where you did 6 laps?
Yeah.
I did 2 laps with me 600, went, right, let's go with the twin. Bah, Braddon just died a death, and I was like, shite, and I just watched you go around for another 5 laps.
That's my point,
I was
yeah,
like,
there you go
for
then.
God's
You're stuck
sake.
out on track, because the twins do break down. Because the thing with a twin, unless you're going to go by the new Aprilia and just ride it, because it's got 90 odd horsepower standard. Mm-hmm. Like the Kawasaki and the Yamaha you can use now, they're only like 60 horsepower. So to bring them up to standard or to tune them, there's that many things being changed. The chances of things going wrong are quite high.
Yeah,
because they're so highly tuned. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Have you ever had to go on a pat?
No.
Wait,
do you know what? I loved riding them. Because I won my first TT on one in 2014.
Yeah,
and I loved riding that, and I built the bike, and I really enjoyed doing it. It just, after that, I thought I've done that. Then I won the Supersport race, and it's like, right, and you just moved on, really.
Because that was the Stuart Smith one. No, was that RC Express?
Yeah.
Because you rode twins up to that point.
Yeah, I did rode Stuart's before that, yeah.
Now, did you get a podium on that bike? No.
Yeah, second.
Jesus.
On Stuart's bike, yeah.
So, I feel like we should go back again here. So,
right.
It's a bit like...
Get a DeLorean out in a minute.
To the DeLorean out. So, we went from the Irish scene with Billy McKinstry. Yeah. And then it was a case, what happened? What was your next stage?
I rode for RC Express.
That was it?
No, I didn't. I tell a lie. I've missed a link. I rode for Paul Shoesmith on a BMW. Did you?
That was your first year on the big bike?
Yeah, when I did my first TT, I just went by myself. In fact, I rode an Ian Bell's bike. I rode for Ian Bell.
There was the
Yamaha.
connection.
Do you remember the Ian Bell Yamaha I had?
Because Ian and your dad were
good friends in racing. Yeah, Carl and the whole Ian Bell family is lovely.
Well, they're from the northeast, so there you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, they are, and I rode an R6 for them when I did my first TT.
Yeah.
So I had their R6, and I got me out an R1. I got 1,000, but I'd never rid 1,000 before.
Was the first time you rode 1,000 at Danbury Hill?
No, I did Scarborough on it.
Right.
Yeah, then went Danbury Hill.
Yeah. just on the topic of Scarborough and the thousands. Obviously, right now the ACU have limited Scarborough to just running a maximum of 600 cc machines. Do you think that's a good call, or would you like to see the return of the 1,000?
It's a shit call.
Yeah.
Speed wise is hardly out in it.
Right.
Look at Supersport and Superbike. What's lap time difference? Or Super Stock and Supersport? What's the difference?
Next to nothing.
You fall off you have crashes on little bikes. Little bikes go faster around corners. Mm-hmm. You don't crash in a straight line, do you?
Yeah. So
big bikes just go fast out straight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there we are.
But I don't understand it. And the thing with the 600 class at the minute is, who knows what's going on with it?
What's your opinion on that then? Do you think there's a future?
Well, the thing is, I want there to be a future because I think the Super Sport class is such a good class.
It's huge. Really for our sport.
Yeah, exactly. I think the thing is, right, I just don't know. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously, at the minute, you can't buy a 600. Yamaha don't even make theirs as a road bike in the UK no more.
But you can buy them on the
racing bike,
deal, yeah.
But that's the only one. You can't buy a Kawasaki, a Suzuki, a Honda. You can't buy them.
Mm-hmm. That was going to be my next question here, because Kawasaki have got these 636s out.
Yes.
Now, do you think they should be eligible? Because when you look at Bradley Pirrie and Kennedy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but their bike's quicker. Look at Jack Kennedy's bike. It's not quite quick, is it?
It's not quick, no. But all that's changed, it's the actual bore size is the same. It's the stroke of the con. It's actually the size of the conrod.
The Gearling 600's faster down the straight.
And that's a 600?
Yeah.
The only reason why it's not 636 is because you can buy a new one.
That's it.
So you can't buy a new ZX6. So I think it should be, because anyway, what are you going to race? It's like with the GP2s at the minute. That's a difficult one, I think, because the current MotoGP bike, or the Moto2s, are a 765.
Mm-hmm.
The ones at GP2 are all 600 Hondas, or they've got a 600-ish engine in them, do you know what I mean? And you're like, well, they're also obsolete, aren't they? Because the MotoGP, where they derive from, has now got a 765 engine. But Kyle rides in a 765, and aren't they introducing the 959s?
The 899 Ducatis, I think. Oh, no, it is 959.
It's a 959, it's a V2 now, isn't it?
Yeah.
A V2?
Yeah, you're right.
So they're introducing that this year. I'd be interested to see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think
Honda.
The good thing about it is and it's Scott Smart's job to kind of basically even up
police it, basically.
Yeah, police it, and make sure there's parity amongst manufacturers. And I guess, although it's a little bit of a mess at the moment, a year of sort of trial and error this year to get things sorted. Josh Day is going to be riding the Ducati in Supersport next year as well, so there'll be at least one Ducati in the championship. You've got the new Triumphs, you've got the 636s, and hopefully by the end of this year they'll level it up so that all the bikes...
And I agree with you. I totally agree, because I do believe that that's a really good class. And I think if you're like kids now that start at 14 on the Moto 3s and things like that, and they might do the Supersport 300s at 17, 18, and then go on to the Supersport class, or what would be called the Supersport class, whether it's on a Ducati or a 636 or a 765, I think it's such a good thing to have the stepping stone between that and stock thou.
Yeah.
Because if you're going from a Supersport 300, for example, or a Moto 3 bike onto a stock thou or even a superbike, it is a big jump.
Yeah.
It is a big jump, but also logistically, it's actually probably a better, like, you're talking about that Ninja 300 and stuff like that. Like, the logistic side of it, you're probably actually better off going straight to a stock 1000. Aren't you? Because of the limited options within Supersport. But the fact that if they open up the door, it's going to keep the...
I like the
ball rolling.
the GP2 class.
Yeah.
I find that interesting because you get people doing a bit of different things. It's like a bit of old school racing.
As in the engineering side.
Yeah, exactly, because
totally.
I'm a fan of that anyway. I like it. Well, this guy's made his own bike and put that engine in it. I like that. That's a good thing. Do you know what I mean? As long as it's safe and it's right, why can't he have a go? And it brings, I think that helps bring other interests into it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? For like the Tigcraft Twin.
God, that was a thing of beauty. That Did you ride that?
No, I didn't know, but do you know what I mean? Do you ever seen
Ivor
that?
Linton had that for years.
But they banned that, didn't they? Because they
Yeah.
saw that's going to go too far with that class. But it proves that these people there are interested in making chassis and having their own ideas on suspension linkages and so on. I find that quite interesting.
Should they allow that class into the TT, in your opinion?
Which class?
Like GP2 kind of thing, these
Well,
bespoke
they're
sides of
they're
it.
going to have to do, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because if not, there's going to be no 600 race.
That's it.
What else? What else can you do? You have to fill it in. So whatever world and sort of are they trialing it at BSB, then it'll go to world. You say?
Yeah.
That'll TT will follow suit.
Follow suit.
Well, it was a Dave Tyson saying that, wasn't it? There's no like official release on that news, that the fact that the 636 is going in the worlds. But if it does, like you say, TT should follow suit. But the TT can do their own thing, can't they? They're actually insulated. They base their rules on worlds.
Yeah, but
they
the
could do their
problem,
own thing.
the
couldn't
problem will come is the TT races the bikes that the teams have.
they? Aye.
If no one's racing 600 anymore, there's no class for a 600. Why have we invested a load of money in a 600 for a fortnight a year?
Well, that's it.
It needs to be something that's ridden all year round. Plus, that makes it safer.
Is your
Yes.
Supersport bike the ZX6?
Yes, I'm on a 600 ZX6. At the Isle of Man, you're not allowed a 636.
Right.
So mine is just a ZX6.
Right at the moment, but that could possibly change in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Oh, I'm trying to think, what's the lap record around there on the 600? You did a 20. Have you got that record on the 600?
No,
Or was
Michael's
just
in a
tipped it?
29.1. I did a 29.05.
Jesus, wet man.
He's got the lap record in Supersport Race 1. I have it in Supersport Race 2, I think. Something like that. So you get, each lap record goes per race.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
That's class.
Out of all the sort of top doers at the TT, do you sort of communicate in between the race now? You're like sort of mates with many of them, or is it just a case of like you turn up at the TT once a year and see them?
No, I speak to Lee, that's about it.
Aye.
Or James Illy, I speak to James.
It was cool to see him racing.
Yeah, well, yeah, James is a nice lad. I don't know, speak to. Yeah, no.
Speaking about Hilliard, didn't he? Like that's the first time he's been there in 12 years or something like that.
Yeah,
What did I
can't
read?
believe.
That's outstanding, that, mind, to be fair.
He's
Be an
got
eye
his,
opener at weekend for him.
I bet. He's got his little son in the O'Varley class as well.
That's why we're there, yeah.
You've got a few kids, haven't you?
Yeah.
Would 7 or something like that?
There's 7 kids. No, I don't know what for.
How many kids have you got?
2.
2. And in the future, do you think you would like to get them racing as kids?
It's up to, I'll ask him.
I tell
I'm
you
not
what,
pushing him into it for whatever he wants to do, yeah.
I've seen him go around the paddock, man, with you on that little tri-bat. He's fully flat out already, man. He's like that, fully cable stretching. There's not a person that doesn't go by going, I wonder who kids that is.
Do you think you would be like a super chilled racing dad, or do you think you would be a bit like sort of
motocross dad?
Oh no, chilled out. I won't go motocross. It's too dirty for my liking. Couldn't do with the mud.
I tell you heard it first here, kids, on Chase the Racing. Let's see what you're like in another 10 years, screaming at your kid from the side.
See what. He actually watched the O'Harley. Is it what? How do you say?
O'Varley.
O'Varley.
Of Harley.
He says to me, "Can we get one?" I said, "Oh, for fuck's sake."
Just pick up the phone to Peter and go.
That's what he says to me. Oh no.
Do you know, like from what you know now and your experience through the sport, is there any part of you that wishes that you started racing as a kid with you, like say in the young, like the 125s and sort of, or you're happy the way you've done it starting at 19?
No, it'd be nice to start young, wouldn't it? But it's one of them, isn't it? Who at 14s can go afford a new motorbike?
Mm-hmm.
I had a paper round.
Yeah.
I got £3.50 a week. What you could do? Do you know what I mean? It's one of them, innit? What realistically, I don't know. Like you see these kids at 14 and 15 racing a MotoGP or Moto3 bike.
Real,
someone's paying.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's got some money somewhere to do it. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them. I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
I live in Bradford, as you can see.
But if you did have the opportunity, you maybe would have.
Of course you would have done.
Yeah.
Anyway, you would have done. Of course you would. Yeah, but the opportunity wasn't there, and you're not going to be bitter about it, are you? You've just got to be appreciate the things that I have got and I have done.
Yeah, fair enough. And speaking of your dad earlier as well, does your dad still compete?
Yeah, he was racing at Croft at the weekend.
How did he get
Is
on?
it the Laird of Croft? Battle of Britain.
Battle of Britain.
Yeah, I think you were there at the weekend.
Was that was that the final round of the British sidecar?
I think it was because they announced the champions, didn't they? I think, or who won the championships?
Like that.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was the last round. Yeah. In fact, no, I know it won't be because I'm sure he says there's another knock. There's a knock hill.
Right.
So no,
He'll be up for that.
Yeah. No, he's not. He's coming to Snetterton with me.
Oh, mint.
He's taking the truck.
All right.
Snetterton.
So he's not going up for the final round of that.
No,
There
he's going to come to Snetterton instead.
Oh, spot on. I tell you what, that's an interesting fact mentioning his dad. Like the Harrison family, you know, your brother races as well, but it's like you're the only family to have every TT trophy. Is that correct? So you've got the lightweight, you've won Supersport Senior,
and my dad's got the sidecar.
Full collection.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
They are.
Yeah, I've even got the classic ones. I've got the 500 and the 750
Oh, I
bike.
must have right there.
I need the 350 one. I've even got this BSA one. I want to try and a BSA Rocket 3.
That was your first year, wasn't it?
Yeah, I tipped up right to come on the piss for the week, right. I thought, I got the Manx, so I literally got I had a Honda Hornet. In fact, that bike in there.
The one that got bumped.
The one that got stolen, and I got it recovered back to me, right?
Now,
It's like a boomerang, right?
How did you get that recovered? By a mate asking the right questions, or was it the police?
Literally, I got burgled. They even nicked me Dyson vacuum cleaner. Who burgles an industrial unit for a vacuum cleaner?
So your brother was telling us that they're trying to nick off with a swarf bin.
Oh no, that was some pikeys yesterday. They were trying to nick the swarf bin. But anyway, that's another story. But the bike got nicked. 6:30 one morning, I'm laying in bed. Gets up out of bed, about 7:15, phone goes, hello. And it's police. Oh, we've recovered your bike. I thought, oh, brilliant. Anyway, so this is it? I went, is it knackered? I said, if it's smashed to bits, it says, just scrap it. I said, I'm not paying for it. No, because you've got to pay the recovery costs, haven't you? Mm-hmm. And the storage, they'll charge you.
Shut up, hold on. The police, if you get your bike pinched,
if you get stolen and they recover it, they charge you for recovering your stolen bike.
It's a separate company that recovers it, but then obviously they have to be paid. It was just my scooter got nicked at the Brands Hatch, and same again. It got nicked, burnt out, so that you could hardly even recognise it. And
I would have took it.
And then I got a bill for 180 quid, and I was and literally it was like a rusty frame with just like melted
plastic. Yeah,
and I just said, how can you prove that it's definitely mine? And they said, like, they came back with something, and I just said, well, I don't think it's mine, so I'm not paying it.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's like
anyway. So they did. So I got there. I had to pay. Mine were about similar sort of money. Must be like a set fee to rip you off. And I got there to bike, and it's got. I've seen it there. It's got purple handlebars on it.
Aye.
And I got that and I thought, it's my reg. No, the one it had my reg on it, right? And I thought, somebody cut mudguard off. And I looked around and thought, it's my bike, but someone had put some different handlebars on it, crash guards, a new rear tyre, right? But the bike had only been missing for 2 months, right? It'd been gone ill of 2 months. Apparently they found it outside some bloke's house in Leeds, right? And then when it went, the bike had a brand new set of tyres on it. Honest to God, I couldn't believe it. And I looked at clocks and I'm like, sure, it's done some miles. So then you go on, whip through with stuff. I've got my old MOT certificate out, mate. How many miles do you reckon it'd done in 2 months?
New tyres, everything like that. I'm going low. I'm hoping it's gone low.
Go on, how many miles do you reckon they've done it? They've stolen the bike off me out of here.
100 mile.
How many miles do you reckon they've done it in 2 months?
2 months, 3,000.
6. I says...
6 mile.
No, it done 6,000.
All right.
I went... and I'm like, fuck off. I mean, 6,000 mile. And I'm looking at my MOT, looking at Speedo. It's got a new rear tyre in it. I'm like, so what they're doing, and it went with new ones. So they brought the bike back, right? They changed oil and filter, put some handlebars on it, some crash guards, right? Done a lot of miles on it, and then I got it recovered. I'm like, I cannot believe, nobody will believe this.
How has someone done 6,000 miles? Like,
It was just over 2 months.
No, but
That's like 3,000 mile a month. I'm like, you must have been drug running or something. I don't know, must have been going around the world.
But that's what I mean. But the way the world of Big Brother now, how the hell is it like 6,000 miles like on a stolen motorcycle? How is someone getting away with that?
Mate, I don't know.
That's
Madness.
Bradford.
I mean, honestly, well, they can't have been riding on Bradford. They found it in Leeds. Honestly, you couldn't ride it. I was more pissed off though because I never got my Dyson back.
You'll be turning up at the next BSB meeting. Some bloke will be here with a Dyson going, we listen to the pod, and there's a
sore subject.
sore subject.
And sorry to jump back a little bit, but do you know your first ever TT when you turned up? What sort of lap time? Like, what was your fastest lap time of your first TT?
122.
So
I think.
No messing, like sort of straight in.
Yeah, I think so. 120, 120, something like that. Yeah.
And
but I had an 07R1 I bought off eBay for $4,500. I did Scarborough on it and went straight down.
Bang? Was that the one?
No,
before
the one before.
Cross-plane.
The one before that, the older one.
Nice.
I did that. It was a really nice bike actually. It was a nice bike. It was good. It was alright.
So that was your own bike. So this is before Paul.
This was the X. I did my first TT in 2011.
Yeah.
Right, but I bought it in Bell's R6. I did just short of 120 on my R6 first time there. I think 12th, I think, in Supersport race 1 or 2 my first time there. Then I did an R1 I'd bought off Fleabay. And then I did alright, reasonable. Did the rest of the season. Then for the following year, I rode for Paul Shoesmith on the Ice Valley BMW.
Do you know when you first went to the TT, did you obviously with your dad's knowledge of the place, did he spend a lot of time with you, sort of teaching you where you should be going and sort of do's and don'ts?
His dad would know where the curbs are, being that low to the floor.
The sidecar, I went round, I did some laps in a car once, and mate, the sidecars are completely different. They're just flat out everywhere. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? 70% of a lap, he never rolls it. They're 100% throttle, 70% of a lap. It's like crazy. It's like there's not a lot that's transferable over. You're like, I'm down a gear. You're like flat out. You know what I mean? So no, I just rode around myself. I just rode around the car, bodged about. That was it. Just,
Have you ever been out in the sidecar with your dad?
Yeah, I passenger 2 weeks ago at Cadwell.
Did you?
Yeah.
How did you do?
I don't know. I just rolled him for grim death.
Is he on an LCR chassis?
No, Rod Bellis.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. But no, it was alright. But his passenger didn't turn up on Friday, so I turned. It was the weekend before Snetterton. It was. Mm-hmm. It was the British Championship round for the F1, F2 sidecars. So I thought, I'm not doing it for the weekend. So I went to watch. Now we're parading a TZ750 of Roger Bodies on the Saturday. So I thought, tipped up with the kids and the missus. Thought take the kids away down there for the weekend. Something to do. You know what I mean? Anyway, I got there at dinner time. Have you got your levers with you? Yeah. Then the van, oh, good, go sign on. I need a passenger. I thought, so then I ended up passengering Friday afternoon.
That must be quite a special thing though. To passenger with your dad.
Yeah, you know what? I actually quite enjoyed it. But like I said, my dad goes, what do you reckon? Then I says, my sidecar passengering career started at 1 o'clock Friday and ended at 5. That's it, I'm done for that. I said, unless you're stuck, I says, I'm done. That's not enough for me.
But you'll obviously pilot though. I heard
driving them is brilliant.
You've got one, haven't you?
No, I've sold it now. I sold it. But I did have one and I drove it. And do you know what? It's so much fun. And the whole...
You chucked Lee Johnson off at the scenery. Remember when he busted his hand?
No, he cut his finger. Mate, he cut his finger out and he was like, fuck you know. And then we went to the ambulance. He's like, we need to go to hospital. And even the woman in the ambulance goes, sorry love, but we can't send you to hospital with that. You need to go to the doctors and get a plaster.
You're having us on, man.
Ask him. I'm going to wind him up. Honestly. But no, I did. Yeah, I did race that. That was the one that me and Lee rode. I did actually race that later on that season. To be fair, I did all right. I did like a 38 or 39 round Cadwell on it on a sidecar.
Right, dear.
On a F2, what you go?
That's not hanging about, that is it?
No, it was good. I really enjoy it. It's just I ain't got time to do it all. So
No.
we've obviously having a shop now. I'll wait until I get older, and then I can make sidecar things and do it myself. I will, but I just at the minute I'm doing what I'm doing.
That's what the future holds.
Yeah, I'll do it. I don't see why not. Hopefully, yeah, because I quite enjoy doing it, and I like the whole. I don't know. The sidecar racing's a bit different. It's a bit like a road racing paddock. Like in the BSB world, it's very cutthroat. I think you'd almost shake your hand with one hand, lift your wallet with the other. Whereas the road racing's not like that. So I don't know. Cause
I know exactly what you mean.
I don't mean it disrespectfully because I think the British Championships know the whole BSB. So I think it's brilliant. I really do. I think the whole competitiveness of it, the way it's run, it's like that regimental. Everything is absolutely bang on, and I do really enjoy it. And I think it's a brilliant series. But it's just different. I'm not saying it's different in a bad way. Mm-hmm. It's just different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You've been like when you go to Armoy or you go to Scarborough. You get a different competitiveness.
There's like, oh god, I think if you go down like say the sidecar paddock, I think like a nice way of saying it, it's a much more sort of salt of the earth people. That's how I think.
But you've got to be careful what you say to not be disrespectful, if you know what I mean. But I'm not being disrespectful because I like them all.
A good example would be you need to borrow something.
Yeah.
You go down.
They'll lend you it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was about to say, simply, they're friendlier people. That is 100% it. They just hand things around, chucking chains at each other and all sorts.
It's just different, and I don't know. It's sometimes I think you can easily forget while you started racing.
Yeah.
There we are.
Do you get what I mean? You go racing because you want to do it and you enjoy doing something. Like people got me, how long are you going to race at the Isle of Man for? I says, I'll stop racing the Isle of Man when I stop enjoying racing at the Isle of Man. You know what I mean? 'Cause a lot of people just like, I'm just going to be competitive, and if I'm not winning, I'm not happy. And all of a sudden, no, I want to win as much as the next man. Like we all want to win, don't we? Do you know what I mean? And I like being competitive, but I still enjoy riding my bike. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So at what point, when after you rode for Paul Shoe Smith, you did your own R1, you've won TTs and stuff like that.
That BMW was quite good actually. The potential of that bike was massive.
That was the Gen 3, not even the Gen 3.
It was 2012 model. It was new in 2012. That model.
Was that a 2 then?
I don't know.
Probably Gen 2, I think.
Gen 2?
I think so. I don't know, but I thought it was really good. I quite liked the bike. The BMW were nice. But the year the senior got cancelled, because I did 126 in the Superbike, and then the senior got cancelled in 2012. Because I finished 9th, I think, in the Superbike race, second year there. And then it got cancelled in the senior, because I was like, I was pumped, but anyway.
So at what point did it take a professional turn for you?
When I went to go race for RCX Plus Pro, we did so much racing. You physically, how can you go to work and like you said earlier, when you're going and doing all these meetings, to have time off's almost impossible. No boss is going to turn around and say to you, "Oh yeah, mate, just have summer off. I'll see you in October."
Aye, I know what you're saying.
It's not going to happen, is it? It's like when you see all the lads at BSB, people must be working flexi time. If not, you can't turn up Wednesday or Thursday. 12 rounds a year, have a fortnight in Spain. You know what I mean? You can't. It's impossible to do.
I tell you what blew my mind. When we went to Alton Park, the signing on thing was Thursday morning. For the riders.
Yeah, see, exactly.
And I rang him now on and tear going, what do you mean Thursday morning? I've booked Friday off.
Yeah, no, she'll turn up Thursday night. Yeah.
And I'm like, no, but the one of this Thursday morning, I've got
afternoon it was. I
1 o'clock.
Mine was Thursday because I had pictures to do and stuff. But they see you, if you're a superbike rider though, you're almost a professional, so you should be there. Which I get that, because these are so low. But the problem is the money in it. Like you're a super stock 1000 champion, right? And you don't get paid to race a motorbike. That's a bit harsh, isn't it?
But see, like
to say to win for somebody to win a national super champion, that is hard work.
God,
right?
100%.
Right? And then you turn up and it's like the next year, and it's just it costs you to go racing still, because you've still got to put your diesel in your van to get there.
How many paid riders do you think there are? Like being in Urban, I think there's only There's only going to be 4 or 5, isn't it?
Nah, but there'll be more than that. There's more than that in there.
A lot of the super bike grade, but I think it's different.
Because didn't you get like you would like to me almost? I think like in World Championship, if you win the Super Sport, you get a super bike. Don't they? They always go a step up. Why didn't you get offered a superbike ride?
No. I was on the phone a lot to trying to get a superbike ride. You were chasing. There was no.
That's I think there's a link there missing that almost needs engineering in somehow that if you do win the Superstock Championship, you get the opportunity to go on a
dangled
superbike.
carrot, aye.
Because I think like yourself, I feel like not that you've missed out, but you have.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
no,
I
I know
don't
what
mean
you
that. 'Cause I
mean.
don't want to be disrespectful too, because I respect what you've done. I think's really good. Honestly, I really do. I think it's brilliant, and I almost think you get a bit shortchanged.
I know exactly what you mean, but I think because we have spoke about this before as well. The sort of the sport.
You have done Superbikes. You rode that Mavuno one, didn't you?
Yeah, a few years
I
ago.
saw you a few times laid in the ground.
Yeah. There's the sport in general is going very much more like car racing, and I think at the end of the day, because there's
money, exactly.
Because people want to do it.
Yeah.
The balance of power in terms of like a lot, like for example, a lot of people would race bikes for free because because they enjoy doing it. So from a team's point of view, it's kind of like supply and demand. If there was nobody willing to do it for free, then teams would have to pay certain riders. But the fact is, like if you were a superbike boss now and you had your pick and you had like somebody who's really, really good rider who's happy to do it for free, then all the other people that would want something out of it sort of gets rid of that basically. And if you've got a load of fast people that are willing to bring fifth, I remember Lee Johnson had a thing either on YouTube or Twitter or whatever at the beginning of this year. If you've got people who are capable of winning super sport races that are willing to bring 30, 40, 50,000, how on earth
can you turn that down?
It basically takes a lot of people out of
it dilutes the job.
What would be a job, but at the end of the day, from my point of view, racing's not a full-time job, and I feel like for me I can you
can switch off.
Away from racing, I can sort of have a normal job and sort of earn a living. So therefore for me, if I could race the rest of my life and do it, like if I can just race, that's all I'm after. So like I know what you're saying. Obviously, it would be nice to earn a few quid.
No, nice for the opportunity.
Yeah, it would be obviously.
I'm not about the money side of things. I mean, for you to just have an opportunity to have a go.
Yeah.
Has Silicon got a spare bike?
I mean, I'm riding the old bike still.
Yeah.
Well, when you get a new one, any chance you can put him on?
But it's all right. It's good to buy. My bike's good. My bike's not bad. I'm on good stuff.
I was about to say, your Kawasaki affair would have started with RC Express, and
back in 2014.
14.
No, in fact, it didn't. It started the back end of 2012. When I raced for Shuey, believe it or not, I had to pay.
This is what I was talking about. That turn of the professionalism.
Yeah, I had to pay to ride that bike. I paid to ride the Ice Valley bike.
You don't mind? How much was that at the time then?
To do the do you know what? I can't even remember. I basically did a deal, right, where it only fought the Northwest and the TT. Because my first ever Northwest was in 2012 with the Ice Valley team.
Right.
Oh my God, that where I had an eye opener. Because it was like, you knew it, and I'd never rode the bike either. The first time I rode the bike, I did a Scarborough on it, right? But it was stuck in rain mode. They had like these modes back then, rain, intermediate. Like everyone thought it was the coolest thing in the world. If there was ever a fault, wet mode. Anyway, there was some fault of it, so it was stuck in wet mode. So I did a few at Scarborough and pulled links, it wouldn't go. So like my first time on it was at the Northwest. Now that was an eye opener.
Jesus. How did he get on?
I didn't do very well, to be honest. I think I was top 10, but I was like, I just didn't. My mind was blown. I was like, this is fucking horrendous. You know what I mean? I was like, I didn't know what was going on. The 600 were fine, and the whole.
And that was on the Ian Bell bike still at that
point.
Yeah,
on the Ian Bell R6 and the Ice Valley BM, yeah. And then I did the Northwest and the TT for him. I had a good TT. And then Roy, RC Express and Ben, they helped me out with a ZX10 for the Southern that year. Because I was going to do it with Ice Valley, but he asked for more money.
Right.
And I was like, I was a car mechanic. I don't have any money to start putting thousands of pounds into a team, do you know what I mean? Fortunately, I lived at home with my mum and dad, so I didn't have any bills to pay, you know what I mean? But I was like, I can't afford to do that, so alright. But yeah, Roy bought me a ZX10.
And now RC Express, you lot developed that team together and got it to where it is now. Is that not a fair?
Yeah, no, comment? It's a good team. I still get along with really well now. They're really nice people. The whole team.
Unbelievable.
You've rode for them.
Oh, that's what I mean. They've given opportunities. They're a huge part of the road racing paddock.
If they went, I think they'd be missed massively.
I could not agree more. So, but like, was it literally just Roy came out
Yeah,
work and just went,
Roy,
hello, I'm, you know.
Roy, I met with Roy after the Isle of Man, and he says, "What you need?" I said, "Well, I won't mind a stock there to do like the general road racing on rail." I was like, "Oh no," so he bought us ZX10. I built it in my garage at home.
Now, did you pick a ZX? Like, so why the Kawasaki route at that point? If you know what I mean, was it just I fancy one of those? Because you've been on a BM, you went,
do you know what? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know why I chose a Kawasaki. Why did I? How many years ago? This 20. What year are we in now? 21.
You in blue leathers, white helmet, L-plate knee sliders, city
No,
boots.
I had black levers on. I had some black
BKS.
Yeah, did
BKS.
Mate, they were good levers. Mate, they were comfy.
Because you've been with Sparta since God was a lad now.
Yeah, I've only ever worn a shoey helmet.
Yeah,
a shoey is the only helmet I've ever worn. But no, I did. I rode that. That was good. That. I finished fourth at the Southern on it first time.
Because like the Ulster, you went.
I was the first ever newcomer to do 130 mile an hour.
You see what I mean?
The average note, the Ulster on as an extent, and I still had the key in it. It'd do 186 flat out because it's still a limiter on it. You know what I mean? That's how green I was. I literally turned up in a van with a bike, and I borrowed a pop-up of Billy, and I was like, there were me and a lad called Sam, and that were it. And they were like the best days though, because there was no pressure, nobody cared. I slept in the back of the van on the floor. It just didn't matter, did it? You just turned up with a bike, rode your bike round, had a laugh, and that was it. It was just a different. Nobody does that now. You don't see it happening now, which is quite sad.
No, you know, can you do that now? To be to be banging around at those speeds
but I did 10. Do it.
No, I know you did it, but do you think hindsight's a wonderful
thing? And I
knew
know it. Do you know what the difference is? I didn't know any different.
I didn't know any different, but not many people are doing that now. It's like, you know, the infrastructure, the bikes, everything. It just seems so.
Now everyone wants to put on Facebook first. I didn't even have Facebook. Everyone likes to look what I'm doing. I'm on Facebook. Look at me. I'm like, I just want to ride my bike. And that was it. I just rode around, went home, didn't care where I finished, just went as fast as I could. That was it. I finished third, I think, at the Ulster on it.
And when you say
that's what I mean. Like, what you
did you enjoy those times more?
Mate, they were the best, weren't they?
Yeah.
No stress, no pressure. I had no responsibilities in life. Where now I've got Mrs. 2 kids, mortgage, house. It's like, fucking hell, you know what I mean? All the stress of that. Mm-hmm. And then you're doing racing as well, which is hard enough at the best of times. Do you know what I mean? You know yourself. And then it all just spiraled out of control. Now, what's the thing now is like with the road racing, it gets expected of you. That's why I'm trying to get quick at the short circuit at the minute. And it's not expected of me. But it should be. I feel like, and myself, I should be better at that. And it's the link I'm missing at the minute, why I'm not slightly. I'm not a million mile away.
No, that's the thing.
But I'm just nearly there. And
at the beginning of the pod, we were talking about that. You've jumped seconds in this game.
Yeah, I am. I'll struggle.
We're talking seconds at this level. You're talking milliseconds. You know,
I know.
So you with a year out.
Like for example, Donington, for example, I'm talking perfect dry weather. I were about 4/10 off, sort of being between 8th and 14th, that area, or like a group of them riders. I know 4/10 is a lot, but that's achievable.
Yeah.
If it were a 1.4, it's not achievable.
Yeah.
But 4/10 is, I think,
mm-hmm.
and that's what I need to be consistently faster. I think. And it's just frustrates me sometimes.
Now,
I think I try too hard. I end up going slower sometimes, and I think
that's what I was going to ask. It's like how out the skin are you doing that? You know, to make that jump.
You guys, like I just said, you go as fast as you can. I'm trying my best every time I go and try. Everybody does. I think if I say they're not, they're lying. But I think guidance is a bit of a thing. Who helps you, for example?
Piggy.
I've got a few people, but I've got a coach, Alan Carter.
Right.
And he helps us.
I just do my own. I've done. Yeah.
Also, another thing.
Yeah, but you are.
Do you have like data logging on your bike?
Oh, come on. I've got more technique. Bob does all. I've got a data engineer. Bob does all that. Yeah.
So,
I'm not that basic.
I was about to say, to reference, have you got like other like people that have say done a 4/10 lap faster, so you can like look at exactly where you're losing?
No.
See, that's like priceless. Because you're saying you've got 4/10 to find, but then if you've got a lap that's 4/10 faster on the data, you can see exactly, I'm braking slightly earlier there, I'm not braking as hard there, the front ends, you can see it on the data. So
yeah, no, I don't. Well, I'm on one man in the
that's
team.
What I'm saying. That's a disadvantage of not
having
having either that data or having a teammate. And I think Hickman mentioned that a while ago. Like no matter who Hickman's teammates have been recent over the last like sort of while he's been at Smiths and then FHO.
Yeah,
he's never really had a teammate to like
reference off.
They've always referenced off him. And like,
But it's like this year's the same though. 'Cause Pete's obviously everywhere Pete's gone. He's been on fire, hasn't he? This year he's been riding really well.
He's stepped up another level again.
Yeah, it's massively as yeah. And I think he's going really well. I think it's good. And because he's quite like Forres, he finished he wasn't that much faster than me at Cadwell really. He was only a bit in front of me, and like so he can't reference off him because he's so much faster.
Just I don't know Forrest. I've never met the man. Nothing like that.
He's a nice bloke. It's a nice bloke.
It just, you know what, from the outside looking in, you know, his mannerisms, like I say, I don't know him personally, he just doesn't seem too bothered from the outside.
I think he should have got the factory Ducati ride. When he was riding that Barnet Ducati, he was podium in the Barnet Ducati, wasn't he?
Exactly.
He should have gone, I think he should have had a opportunity in the factory team, but he never did. He almost went elsewhere and rode a Kawasaki.
He was that year he was the highest non-factory team. Non-factory rider in World Superbikes.
Exactly.
And then he's been back to BSB, and then he did a good job last year in World Superbikes. But for some reason it just hasn't clicked for him this year. I know he broke his skate out at the
not Alton Park. Yeah, did you? Which that's got to knock you.
But then he went from there to. Missed out
Knock
Hill,
went Australia.
and then he went straight over to do an endurance race.
Yeah, he did a 12-hour endurance. He did well there, yeah.
Didn't they get on the podium?
Yes.
There we are. You know,
that's a fair point. Yeah, no. There you go. Then,
doesn't seem to have clicked. So we started with the TT and then RC Express years. What was your first podium like in international road racing?
International.
Or like this is a TT Northwest also.
My first TT podium was on a twin, I think. Was it on a twin? It'll have been on a twin. It has to have been.
Oh, well, Stuart Smith on the that's TT, but then. Surely it would have been the Ulster.
Can you honestly not remember?
Didn't you just say
TT podium?
No.
Southern, well, you've been banging around the Southern. Jesus wept.
Mate, I've had that many bangs on the head.
It all just blurs into one.
It
might be an easier one then. What was your first win at the TT?
Oh, that way twin. That was easy. That's an easy one. I remember my first win. No, twin was my first one. Do you know what the one that when I did all right? I finished second on a super stock bike in 2014.
Jesus.
In stock thou, and that never got mentioned. And I thought I finished second on a stock thou.
Jesus.
Man, to do that was hard. Michael won, I was second, and Bruce Anstey were third.
Bruce Anstey.
Right, and no one never got mentioned that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, and I was like, why? You know, like stuff like that. And I thought nobody ever says that. Nobody even notices that. And I think that's. I had no quick shift either. Quick shift didn't work off start. You ride 1,000 with no quick shift front Isle of Man for 4 laps, mate. That was hard work. My hands were full. I mean, I was like. Pfft.
I think you've answered me next question. What has been your biggest standout moment? Is that it?
No, it's not mine. No, it's not. But it's just in my head, right? I'll never forget that. Because the weather conditions were a bit shitty. It was a bit damp and greasy, and it was wet under not wet, but no, it's damp under the trees and things like that, and you just look like... Yeah, I had no quick shift for it, and it was when you do a hard race, and you think, this is hard. And the only reason why I carried on is because I got like P2 on my board. Mm-hmm. But like the first few seconds, I thought I'd carry on here. It was just hard work. And you get off afterward, your hands falling off, you know what I mean? But it's just that was back in 2014. Yeah. I'll never forget that.
What's been your standout moment in your eyes? We're not talking like great, like stuff like that, you know.
Silly little things.
Yeah, like
do you know what, I had a racing round the Ulster. I've had a lot of quite good fun round there. I had some good races around there. I had a good race with Dan Neen in 20.
Jesus, that was outstanding. He was on the Cookstown bike. You were on the was that Martrain?
No, mate, no. It was when he were on Tyco's. I won the Superbike race in 20.
That was it.
18. I don't know what year it was. I lose track of years. When you get that old, you see, you lose track of years and days
and
things like that.
You're not old, son. You're just being fucking forgetful.
No, I've just done a lot of stuff. Yeah, when you do that much stuff. Yeah, in 2018, I had a right good race with Dan, and he was leading, I was leading, all the rest of it. And that was good. That was a good race.
And that's like your standout moment.
Yeah, it was just a good race. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause Dan was good. He was a hard rider.
Jesus,
yeah,
he was hard, yeah.
But no, I've had loads of little standout things. The Southern's been good for me racing. That was another good race with Dan again. There were me, Dan, and Michael at the Southern in 28. It might have been 17 or 18 when I won my first solo championship race. And back at the Southern, then it was like that. The times were that tight between so many people. And you're literally racing around there like a short circuit. You know what I mean? And you're really trying. And I had loads of bad luck all week. I had like a regulator rectifier going one race. Then I went out in the second race because the regulator rectifier had gone. It corrupted the ECU because the battery voltage had gone low, and then I'd no it would work. And like, fucking hell, you know what I mean? And then eventually for the main race, the bike got sorted, and I'd won every single race previously on different years apart from that one solo championship race, and that was the race that I won that week. Yeah. And me and the lads all went on the beer after.
Oh my god.
Do you know from when you stepped up and just got to like say 130 mile an hour lap, and that's like a big.
I remember doing my
milestone.
first 130. That was 2014 as well. I were on Michael Rutter's 2013 Superbike.
Right.
Roy at RC Express had bought MSS, just Kawasaki, from them to do the roads on, and it was Rutter's old bike. It was Rutter's or Buchan's, because they rode for him in back in Superbike back then.
Mm-hmm.
And I was lying fourth in the senior back then, and it blew up coming into Sulby Bridge. It broke a gear and put it out the back of the crankcases. But on the previous lap, I did my first 130 mile an hour lap.
Oh my god.
And
I'm begging.
I'll never forget that, because I stopped right at Ginger Hall. It was great, and George Peach was sat there watching the race, who runs the Southern, and he gives me 20 quid because there's a bar on the corner. Racing's finished now. Last race today, bike's blown up. I was pissed off, don't get me wrong, but I thought, I don't get pissed off, because if you break down, it could be a lot worse. I always look at the outside looking. There's people in a lot worse situation than me. I'm fine. The bike's there. It'll repair. There's a pub there. He's giving me 20 quid. Right?
It's on.
It's on. Right. There's no more racing for the rest of the week. Anyway, so I went in this boozer. Right. I had a gallon. It was only the second lap it brought down, so I had a no good over an hour and 45. So I'm there for hours.
Oh my god,
mate! I had a gallon of bitter. Right in this. In Ginger Hall pub, right? I never spent a penny. And on the way back out, I remember giving George's 20 quid back, right? And I was that pissed, right? Because I just got off the bike, I was sweating, right? And then you start drinking beer straight away. I had to wait for the recovery van, which had to wait for the race to finish, which went on for ages. I got in the recovery van on the way back, fell asleep on the way back in the van. Got back, woke up when I got to Governor's Bridge. They tried to get it dragged back, but I was that pissed I couldn't get the bike out. Right, so I just ended up waddling off and left with the team. That was funny. I won't forget that.
I was going to say, do you know, from around that sort of 130 to 132, that was kind of like the benchmark for a good number of years.
Yeah, well, I did 133, I think I have on a stocker now.
Right, well, I was going to say, and then there was that jump from like just past 130, and then like 133, 134s.
Yeah.
Is there noticeable differences where, like, for example,
yes,
you've always like rolled at a particular point, but then you've thought, fucking just held it flat? What's the differences between the sort of 132s and 134s?
Stupidity.
Is there anywhere in particular on the lap that's like you're asking a little bit more out of?
Yeah, you know what, it's probably not just one place though. It's like when you do a faster lap time around Alton Park, no matter where you are, it's just a little bit everywhere. Because you're nicking bits, because you're going for the difference is, right, the Isle of Man, there's 264 corners in a lap.
Yeah.
What is the 12 round a short circuit, where, for example's sake, you nick a little bit round 12, you've got a little bit. You nick a bit around 200, you've got a big bit. Do you get what I mean? It's literally like that. You've got to nick a bit everywhere you can, I think, because you've got so many opportunities to do so. Mm-hmm. I don't know how else to explain it.
What's the when you get back after a race and you find out what lap time it is, what's the biggest sort of buzz that, like, when someone said a lap time and you've thought, yes, like, what's been the biggest sort of, was it the 130?
No, I went out in practice in 2018, but I was steady away now. Like, you know you're going fast, but you're smooth and you're happy, and you're just like and just point to point. I did like 133 summit.
That fucks me right off. That right there.
Do you know what I mean? And Paul goes, "You've done 133.6." I says, "What?" I says, "All right." I went, "Yeah."
They say everyone says that. You know, like remember when Lee won the Super Sport, came in, it didn't feel like a win. You know, is that the one? That was funny, that race. It got cut short to two laps. Right? It was a two-lap dash.
I pulled in at pit lane. I didn't realise I cut it out at 2 laps, right? I came out of Governor's Bridge. Obviously, I wasn't in the mix anyway. I was like 4th or something, actually. But I came down pit lane and pulled into the pits, and he's got the checkered flag out. I'm thinking,
what the hell's happening?
What's going on here? And then it's been cut to 2 laps, so I slowed it off. I didn't even know. How would I know? When you're on the bike, no one gives you a ring, do they? Or no one comes on dash 2 laps. You know what I mean? It was quite funny.
And you just mentioned Paul. Was Paul Eden?
Yeah.
How I only met Paul a few weeks ago. Obviously, I've known Christian for a while, but I've only met Paul.
Yeah.
What was he like to work with?
I like Paul. He was Paul, all right.
Seems like a top.
Yeah, he was really massively chilled out. He was really chilled out with Paul, but I call him Mr. Laid Back. But no, it was good. The whole.
That's rich come from you, because you're really laid back. So
that
must be very. There you are.
But no, I always got along with Paul, but no gripes or like. It was just one of them things. Just chilled out. We did his thing. He knew what he had to do. I knew what I had to do. We just went about his thing, and I think we all got along, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. And just before we move on from the sort of TT stuff, the very last time we went to the TT in 2019, it's almost 2 years. Is it past 2 years now? Or yeah, it is. Yeah,
Two TTs are gone. Yeah, two TTs
are gone. I presume that's been your most successful, your best TT to date.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And talk us through the senior TT win. Was that? I presume as a TT rider, that must be the pinnacle that you're aiming for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No,
was when you finally crossed the line and seen the checkered flag and went down the slip road.
Me and Pete obviously been close for years, but in that he got quite a bit of a gap. I think about 18 seconds, 17 seconds, something like that. Yeah. And then he had a bit of an issue, and as soon as it came back, I'd like P1 plus 26 or something. I thought, I thought, what's happened?
Where did he get that board?
He won like 3 or something, or like 4. And I'm like, ugh.
Whereabouts?
I have a board, after Ballaugh on the left.
Mm-hmm.
I have a local one there from Glenlyon. I have one at Sulby Bridge on the right from Ballaugh. Then I have one at the bungalow from Ramsey. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a few boards. I only get the one at the gooseneck.
Right, yeah, no, I have like 3 pit boards. Some people have more, I have 4 or 5. You can, yes,
Jesus.
You know. Yeah, you can, yes, I have 3 boards.
And you step the game.
And sometimes you get other people putting them out for you and things. You do get that. It's just, that's the thing, you do get people, which is good, actually.
I look behind us, I'm thinking, who the hell's behind? I'm thinking, who's caught us? You know,
someone
puts a pit board out, you're like, who the fuck's the...
Yeah, no, you do get a bit of that. But no, and it would just like, when I had a reasonable lead, and you still got to go fast because you're going so fast anyway, and it's just like try to keep concentration back to the line, really. Mm-hmm. And it's like a weight off your shoulders. The thing I were happy about, I've won in every class, like you've says. Some people get specialists, so he's really good on that, and he's really good on that. Like you get super stock the same. You get somebody that can ride a super stock bike, unbelievable. They get on a super bike and they struggle a lot more than you'd almost think that they would because they're so talented on a super stock bike. And 600 the same. You get somebody that can really ride a 600 that struggles on a super bike. Whereas for me to win every class, I think's an achievement for me because it's...
If you were going to drop one class, what would you drop?
Twin.
Yeah,
because when you've won something already, and I prefer riding the bigger bikes. I love the big bike, the super bike. I like riding the big bike. Mm-hmm. That's it, really.
And we're talking just before the podcast started about the sort of misconception that people have about how much money's in road racing, and we were saying about
you did take his Rolex off before coming in. So
people have I've got the height of clothing on the.
But for
plugging your own business.
For people that don't understand how it works, am I right in saying at the TT you get paid for laps led, not just the finish?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Because a lot of I'm sure we had someone on the podcast that said something about the first time they went to the TT, every time they got like near the finish, or no somewhere
in 2018, right? I did 134 from a standing start in the superbike race, and I led the race for 2 or 3 laps, and the clutch went right, and I thought I was spewing because I had an 18-second lead, right, and I would 3rd lap, good lead, everything was going well, and I got lap money. Because I led for 2 laps.
Yeah. So
how much is that then?
I don't know what it was. I can't remember what it was, but I didn't realise. Like, this is good, really, because to say you've busted your bollocks for 2 laps, right? So at least it's not all for it, but you're not going to retire on it, are you?
Yeah.
I'm not going to. Yeah. No. I think for what is it? Well, everyone knows the prize money anyway. Don't I think for winning the seniors, 18 grand. I think.
Is that without lap bonus, or is that?
No, that's all in all. I think about 18 grand.
Also, if you win every lap, if you lead every lap,
lap's about 18 grand. Yeah.
Aye.
So you're not going to retire, are you?
No.
So I mean, and if you look at how many people have won a senior?
That's what I mean. That's just
there's
huge.
not a massive amount of people.
How many people have won round the mountain course? Never mind won a senior TT.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just phenomenal.
Do you keep your senior TT trophy in a is that right?
If you says to me now, where's my trophy? I'd tell you I don't know.
Are the lads just hiding them around the house or something? Or was Vicky chucking about the window?
I don't have.
Are you not sort of precious about them?
No.
Really?
They're just dotted about the house in random places with other ones, and just... I
had this vision that, because you're the only family that have got the full collection, I thought you would go in and you would have like a shrine to them and just no...
You ever given any replicas away?
Me?
Yeah.
Why?
To like sponsors and stuff like that, if you never... Just what?
Why, no, I just keep them all. I keep them and just put them in shoeboxes and stuff. And
I've only ever given 3 away.
Right.
And they were like like
I've got a few.
High
I
end.
think I've got 7 now. You get the big ones when you win, don't you?
Yeah, so you got 7. Oh,
I've
is
got
that
7,
including the
classics
classic?
at the same trophy, aren't they?
Yeah, the exact same trophy.
Yeah,
Which
mate,
is
to win a
mad.
classic's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Mate, Jesus Christ, winning one of them's as hard as that. When you riding a gold classic bike around there, you vibrating your handlebars and all sorts.
You're still pushing, aren't you?
Mate, yeah, they're good fun though. I quite like the classic.
Yeah.
It's a shame that's all. I would upset that one on this year, really. It's a shame we couldn't get over.
Aye,
and
just
have a
cracked
draw
over.
around, but hopefully, touch wood, it'll all be back on next year.
So let's talk about big changes coming up then. Metzler's to Dunlops. You won the Dunlop Senior TT on Metzler's,
Yeah,
which
I
is
did.
just, that was a marketing thing that kind of went wrong on that side of things. So
Yeah.
what's inspired the change?
I don't think a change is as good as the rest, innit? Do you know what I mean? When you look at who's...
That's very deep. I like
For
that.
example, look at the top 10 and look what everyone's on. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with any of the tyres. They're all good tyres, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's just what you're going to get the edge out of. I don't know. But unless you try them, you don't know, do you?
Have you?
I ain't falling out with anybody. I could. I mean, you don't.
Oh,
want to
no,
fall
no,
out,
you don't. No. The game's too
But no,
small before
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
But
No, so no, it'd be an interesting test to see how they do go around there, and they obviously do go on next to the fastest tyre, aren't
Because-
they?
Because you're going to, like, the thing is, like, a Dunlop's, like, known for, the heating up, like a Pirelli and, like, Metzler's kind of thing. You can just hit the ground running and go. But I tell you what, you're blowing that clean out the water at, what do you call it? Oliver's Mount. You know what I mean? It's a very short, tight, narrow track. You're just straight out on the knee and off you go. You're not bothered by
I
it.
got the lap record around there in Dunlops.
There we are. So
Not too bad. See, they worked there, didn't they? They worked all
no,
right there.
no, we're not disputing the fact that they don't not work.
No, they
but
do
it's-
work.
it's-
But I know what you mean. They do take a bit to come to in comparison.
Can you feel that?
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah, you've got to be slightly more cautious for the first few laps once they get the temperature in, and then they'll almost come to you and you get your feel.
Yeah.
But I do have a concern, obviously, about that in the Isle of Man. Is it going to be something that's going to take a... But normally I'm good off the start. But then again, is that because your tyre works better from the start? Where the Dunlop might take a little few mile to come to me, then progressively. I don't know, because I ain't run them yet.
Yeah.
I did back in 2012. I ran them. I had Dunlops my first time there in 20. Actually, I used to run Dunlops then.
Yeah.
2012, 2011. I had Dunlops. I didn't switch to Metzler until 2013.
Have you ever tried any other manufacturers of tyres?
There ain't anything Isle of Man. There's only Metzler or Pirelli Metzler or Dunlop. That's it. There's no. You could put Michelin on, I suppose, but there's no support. The thing is, the actual truck's there, ready for you to use them. You need sort of backup with them, and if there's any issues and all like that, because it's quite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, don't you? It's like, whereas like BSB, for example, everyone just has to run one tyre and that's it. So it's easy, innit? That's your tyre. That's it. Crack on.
Yeah.
There's no arguing. Which I sort of agree with, but I don't.
In what sense?
Because for tyre development, it's crap. Right? But then again, we're not there to develop tyres, are you? You're there to race. Right?
Yeah.
And then, does that mean... So
Oh, no,
it's
God,
a bit... It's a bit... It's one of them, innit? I don't know.
It's mad, isn't it?
Well, like, when you look at other series, but they're all one make out MotoGP. Everyone wants Michelin.
Yeah. One good thing about it
So
is...
I think it is the way forward to make it a level playing field.
Do you reckon Michelin's will come good in a few years then? If you're like being like, when you're talking about that tyre technology drifting down, the kind of thing. You're saying it's all about pushing it.
Everyone knows that Michelin, Dunlop, Pirelli, Metzler, Bridgestone, they all know how to make a tyre.
Exactly, aye.
Do you know what I mean? It's like the Japanese riders that ride for Honda. They've always been on Bridgestones, I think, and now they're on Pirellis. That must be a big transition for them. Mm-hmm. For them to come and get on the Honda and ride in a different tyre. I think that might not hinder them, but it'll take a bit of getting... Well, they've done enough rounds now to get used to it, but that'll have been a big thing for them.
Yeah, so have I. On the TT course, what's your favourite section and what's your least favourite section?
I like the run to the Glen Ellen, through the whole Glen Ellen section, all that when you're under the trees.
You have that lap record, don't you? Not lap record, sorry.
I have
sector
sectors
record,
from
that's
start
it.
line to Glen Ellen to Ramsey, and Peter's got the one from Is it Balaf onwards, I think.
Here's a random question. Have you ever fancied going on a different brand of bike just to say that you've done it? Has that ever tickled your fancy?
Yeah, of course it has. You do think that sometimes.
Yeah.
Whether you suit different bikes. Do you know what I mean? For example, the perfect example of that. For example, do you remember when Haslam won the championship? What year did he win the championship?
On
Talking short circuit here.
Kawasaki 2018.
Yes. 18 he won it.
Let's say
it was 18. Yeah.
Right, Haslam won the championship in 18 on that ZX10. The following year, Glenn signs for him. Couldn't ride the bike. Glenn can clearly ride a bike, because look how well he's going now on a Honda.
Yeah.
Look how well he's going on a Ducati. He knows how to ride a motorbike. He got on the Kawasaki.
Could
not ride the motorbike. No matter what he did, it just didn't suit him as a rider. And you think sometimes, I think I'm Obviously, the Kawasaki must suit me to a certain extent because obviously I've won racing, but the road racing is different to the short circuit. I almost think sometimes it'd be interesting to try another bike, no, to have another one. I really would like to say, but you can't just go. Oh, well, I'll just go test that soon. Bike. You can't just do that, can you? But look at you. You won the championship last year in a BMW. And where are you lying now in a Kawasaki?
7th at the moment. There's a lot.
Did you just do a pin drop?
There's a lot of.
I think it's some. Your brother's dropped something in the engineering workshop. There you go.
That's a perfect example, isn't it? What do you think's a better bike? What did you prefer, your BM or your Kawasaki? Bearing in mind,
nothing like putting us on the spot, but yeah, obviously I had a lot more success on the BM.
Bearing in mind, you were on the old BM.
Not the
you're not on the new BM with the wings.
Yes, that's
which is different again.
We're just talking about that earlier.
And it's and nobody said a bad thing. Everyone said a positive thing.
Mm-hmm. We're just chatting before as well about the carbon wheels on the new one, and the fact you've got to run them.
Yeah.
What are they, like $4,000 a set or something?
I don't know. You'll get a deal on them, so I'm sure someone must do.
$4,000 a set, $2,000 a week. Jesus, it's
a lot of money.
The pricing out with this market is phenomenal, and that almost refers back to my question. You know, when you first started off, is the fact that you proper old school Joey Dunlop turned up in the van, off you went, got out in top tens. Now you're talking about buying a bike that is $4,000 for a set of wheels.
I give $4,500 for my first 1,000cc racing bike, and that came with a spare set of wheels.
That's what I'm saying. You know
You're
what I mean?
paying $4,000 for a set of wheels.
Mental.
It's just crazy. That's exactly. It's just the price. Everything's gone up on it. It's just crazy.
Ridiculous.
But anyway, we never got your question at you about your BM and your Kawasaki. So
I was more comfortable on the BMW last year. Obviously, that obviously showed in my results. But if you look in terms of my lap times, I've done pretty much exactly the same lap times this year.
Yeah. But the new BM has progressed on.
Well, for example, I personally think the Superstock rules are balanced pretty well, because if you look at, say, Luke Mossey's
going well,
I think he's had 4 DNFs now, and when he's riding well, he's been like winning quite comfortably on the Kawasaki, the same bike as me. So I don't think you can just say it's the bike. But
I don't think there's a bad bike. I think they're all pretty.
I take your point about suiting, like for example, Glenn.
That's what I mean. No, I'm not saying it's a bad bike.
Yeah,
I'm not saying any bike's bad. What I'm saying is, as you as a rider, what suits you, what suited you better. I'm not saying that bike's better than that bike.
And I do think I've had to. A little bit with my riding style, but more in terms of like what I want out of the bike. So in terms of setting it up, I think when I first got on the Kawasaki, and for a good few rounds, I was kind of searching for a feeling that I had with the BMW.
But you were never going to find.
And I was going down an alleyway, and we ended up sort of having to get to a point where we had to reset, and we've ended up going a different direction, and it's definitely going a lot better.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? I think you are right in terms of people particularly suit
certain stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Certain bikes.
So I would like to have gone on the bike, but it's just timing
and with our sport, you're so invested in
what you've got,
and
it's so expensive you can't just change.
Exactly.
How many people have come knocking on your door? You can't say names, everything. No,
you
and Silicon. You had to dribble on about shite.
Fuck off.
I've been saying that for a canny while now, but here you are. But anyway, but seriously though, you're the senior TT winner. I'm just Silicon. You've been with Silicon a long time. That's like a family-based team. You're getting what you want. Like everyone's working together. That team is working well. Why fix something that's not broke? Totally understand that. But surely people are knocking on your door. Don't have to give me names or nothing. But are people bringing down the door?
Not really, no.
Really?
Yeah. No, I don't get much. I don't really know. I've never.
It is a good question. If there was a good top Honda team or a top BMW team and like say Silicon were taking a year out next year, so you had a choice of say, let's just say Padgett's or Pierre Hickman's team, just for example, or Cinetic and Padgett's. Which what do you think? What would sort of scratch the itch more, Honda or BM?
Which one pays me the most?
Both the same wage. No, both the same wage.
I'm only winding up. Do you know what? I've never even thought about it. I don't know.
Because in roads, it's...
I don't... Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. No, that's a really good question, but I wouldn't like to say it, man, because I don't know. Looking at both bikes, I think they're both a good bike. And...
you should be a politician with an answer like that.
I'm like an MP now. I'm not saying yes or no. No, I generally, I wouldn't know. On the spot, I wouldn't know which one to say I'd have, because I think they're both good. It's just which one's more suited to the job. The new Honda's never been to the Isle of Man, has it? Whereas the BM's had so much success there over the last few years.
I think the Honda's going to go because one of them. Like,
mate, I can tell you one thing: it ain't slow.
That's what I'm saying. It's just even the stock bike. It's just what pisses me off with the Honda thing is there's no like support. We were talking about Kawasaki will give you support. Did BMW give you? No, we're talking about buying a base bike here. You know what I mean? But Honda,
I don't know the ins and outs of what discounts, deals.
Oh no, but I'm saying
I don't know. Yeah.
But Kawasaki do give a level of support, you know,
right.
like as a race deal kind of thing. But I think Honda are the only ones that not
do
it, and you just think, my God, it's almost a shame because if
more people would be on them, you mean?
Well, I am, and you think, what are they rumoured at? Like 217 stock.
I don't believe any of that. All these horsepower dyno figures that people come out of, I don't believe any of them.
Right.
I know what horsepower my bike is.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not going to tell you, right?
Damn it!
and I've raced on track with Ducati, with Brooks at Thruxton, were close to me, and then the Honda and things like that. And I've heard the rumours of what horsepower their bikes are, and I'm like,
nah, they're not.
Because my bike's not slow, my bike's fast.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? My Kawasaki's not a slow bike, but you'd expect the Ducati to have, it does have an edge, and the Honda being so new.
What did Ducati, in your opinion, work around the CT course?
Mate, I would love to have a go over Ducati.
All right, Paul Bird. Brace down your door.
I'd take the Ducati ride.
You would take the Ducati. There we are. No.
Do you know what, right? I don't know why. It'd be like a dream thing, wouldn't it? Because last time a Ducati won around there with Mike Aylward in like...
No.
No,
don't think... No, I know the lap record. 127, Michael Rutter's got
who won the TT last in a Ducati? Come on.
Jeez, it would have been Aylward.
Was it Aylward?
I think so.
Right, I won on the ZX10 dinner, right? On the Superbike race. I was the first person to win a big bike race near Kawasaki since Mick Grant.
Fuck off.
Right, honestly. Right, since when did he win? On the KH 750 or something, 1960 odd, right?
Telly was black and white, wasn't it?
That's how many years ago. So, it could imagine if I went back in a Ducati and won and be the first man to win since Mike Aylward. Now, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
that would be cool, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? I'd take the Ducati just on the whim of Mike winning and 5 breakdown.
I tell you what,
don't forget, he's got to do 6 laps.
There you are, Jesus. So, that would be good.
I'd love to go to the Ducati.
I was asking.
It just looks cool. It sounds really rattly, but it still sounds brilliant. Doesn't it?
By far my favourite superbike all time. It's like that was going to be one of my latter questions.
It's all Italian though. Anything you tell me some Italian that looks shit, whether it's women, bikes, cars,
even the beer's sexy.
Everything about it. The Italians could make a turd look good. Do you know what I mean? They just do. No, it's right. And I think the Ducati looks nice.
I love that. Do you know that?
When's the next time we walk by a pile of shine gun? It's not quite Italian enough.
I'll sprinkle some glitter on this Italian glitter.
Do you know the MV? It's like a naked MV with the 3 exhausts.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
they're nice. Is it Brutale?
Yeah, absolutely beautiful.
They're Italian. Just look nice.
We're on a Patreon page. Usually when we put the guests coming on, we usually get like 2, maybe 3 questions. I think you've got the new record with 10. So I think we're going to do... Well, I'll pick the best ones out because we could be on all day.
Right.
The first one, Ryan Garside. Is it true
he's a dick. Just get rid of him. I'm joking. No, you read it. I'm joking. He's a good lad.
But he started by saying, is it true that you avoided the pod because you just couldn't be asked with 2 hours of Dominic Herbertson?
Is that right?
Yeah, like I said, he's a dick. Let's go back to that one.
The second one, Dom's got his peacock. But what's the weirdest thing you've seen or encountered while racing at the TT course? So if you ever came around a corner and there's been an animal or something weird?
Oh yeah, I've seen rabbits. Is it wallabies? I've seen a wallaby. All sorts of bits.
What's a wallaby?
Yeah, Quarry Bends, was it?
Yeah. There's like a little wallaby farm around there.
What is a wallaby? I don't even know.
Google wallaby and you'll see one.
Is it a Manx thing?
No. Didn't they want to? I don't know how true this is, but apparently escaped from the zoo or something over there, and then the bred and they live over there, and there's loads of them.
That's exactly right. Now the thing is, right? I tipped in the Greba cat. That is a wallaby.
Let's look. Let me see.
Bloody hell!
Yeah, it's a small of it.
Kangaroo.
Like a little mini kangaroo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, look at his face.
No one believes.
Yeah,
me.
honestly, they're at Quarry Bends.
No one believes me to this day.
If you hit one though, you'd know about it.
Fuck, make a right mess. Have you ever hit I've hit
birds and all sorts.
Jesus,
I once hit a bird on my shoulder. I got blood all in my neck, up my face, off the bird. Oh mate, honestly.
Yep. Way I.
Bloody hell.
Fair, I've come no screen around the TD for a lap. It's no joke, is it?
No.
You know what I mean? Just.
It's like being shot with a bullet.
It is, aye.
The Northwest's worse with the stones.
I've broken a couple of fingers.
Oh, mate, no, the Northwest. No, you come out of the No, the little roundabout, little small roundabout, you come out of there. I don't know what it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Mill Road roundabout.
When you transfer over.
You come down there and you get the stones off the track. Oh my God, no, that soft bit of your lever's here. Where you get that like neoprene, is it? And you get shot there. Oh, it's the most horrible pain in the world. It's bad.
I'll tell you what, Thruxton absolutely destroyed my helmet for the same things.
Oh mate, that's like riding through a ball pool compared to going through the northwest on stones. Honestly, it's really bad. It hurts your knuckles through your gloves.
Like you know when everyone gets their bikes all sprayed up for the northwest thing,
It's
just put
pointless.
them away.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is.
You need titanium fairings.
You do put the old fairings on. Like when I went there with me and BM with my mates, I said, "Let's put the old ones on. They look shit." I said, "They're gonna look fucking worse."
Yeah, they will. Yeah.
Literally, the paint is obliterated up.
Yeah, it's bad.
That's the northwest. See, that's massive stone chip on the top. I've had that
Yeah.
touched up by Hayden loads. Just
For people that can't see, it's like the size of a 50p coin. That,
oh god, that's
you
that's
get
probably
back.
him. That
Yeah.
that's probably him. How can a rocket it?
We've got Jesse Mortimer. What's the strangest thing or most untrue thing that you have read in the press or about you or heard on a podcast or social media? So,
I don't think I've heard out bad. I don't think.
have you
Not
ever
like-
read anything that's just like totally been made up or?
No, I haven't heard. No, I don't. Not that I've read. And then again, I don't do a lot of reading.
Mike Orton. It's generally accepted that riding the short circuits is beneficial when it comes to riding the roads, bike fitness, sharpness, etc. Conversely, is the opposite true for the short circuits? What I mean, with a few exceptions, most road specialists don't run near the front in BSB is because of technique, bike spec, budget, mindset.
You kind of touched on that a little
Yeah,
bit, didn't you?
I think it's. Do you know what? That's a good question. That is actually. I think probably talent's one.
Do you believe in oh god, don't even go down this road. We talk about it all the time. It's
right,
like,
I don't know. I think it's a combination of little things. No, because when you're not a million mile off, it's not a one big thing. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's got to be a combination of a few little things that just needs pointing in the right direction.
would you say you're a talented rider?
I don't know. I just said I'm a winger.
No, because I remember speaking to you years ago, and it was something that sung in. You just said you were naturally fast.
Who said that?
You
Did I?
You did, aye.
That sounded a bit big-headed for me.
It was good. It was
Would
good.
I say that?
No. It was no. It was. I'm taking that out of context.
That's
that was
what I
one
mean.
particular thing. It was something like you were saying. We were talking about. What the hell were we talking about? We're talking about how did you get that good? You know, how did you get that fast? And you said, well, I began with a certain amount of natural talent.
Did I?
You did
Right.
something like
I must
that.
have been- I must have been sarcastic.
No, something like that. No. Oh God, Bennett.
Same person, so this is still from Mike. What does Dean think the lap times will be like? And so in like say 3 years time at the TT,
Aye.
where do you think the like sort of speeds are going?
Do you know what? That's a good question because I think a lot of that's weather dependent. Because you need a good series of bit of weather, right, to get the rubber laid down on the track. And the more rubber gets laid down, the faster you go. You know, it's like a track, when they say a track green,
Yeah.
right, it's nobody goes as well. Whereas if you get some rubber laid down and it doesn't rain overnight, it don't wash it away.
Nah.
So it all depends on weather factors. But do you know what? They're only going to get faster out. They're not going to get slower.
So do you think
Not unless they change track.
as time goes on, do you think they'll just edge up?
Yeah, well-
100%. Hailwood said no one will ever go faster than 100 mile an hour. When they did the first 100 mile an hour bomb, like that was it, wasn't it? It was just like no one will ever go quicker than that.
Yeah.
134s, 35s later.
Yeah, I think the wheels keep chipping away, yeah. And it depends on the race circumstances. You've got to be pushing each other to get to it.
Can you see the TT ever getting stopped? And for what reason would that be?
Mate, don't even go there. With some Greenpeace or something on it.
That's what I mean. It will be, won't it? It'll be something totally out of our hands.
I could see it. Yeah, I don't. Hopefully not. But you never say never, do you? Just don't. The world will. Let's be honest.
It's
If
getting more worrying.
2 years ago, if somebody says to you, "You're going to get locked in next week for a virus that 99.9% of people don't die," what would you? You'd have been like, "Fuck off, full of shit, you."
I'm from
next
Hexham,
thing you
son,
know,
there's still-
you sign house letters.
I know it's been a weird couple. of
Oh
years,
man,
to
it's
be
just
honest.
mental.
But it is getting, for me, it's getting more worrying. You know, the way the world is, more wet wipes in it, and people with more opinions, and
The
that,
problem-
and
the
you
problem
can't
is-
do this, can't do that.
The problem
It's
with
getting
people
worrying.
nowadays, right? They need a hobby. No, people lack hobbies massively. People are more interested about Facebook and what other people are doing.
Aye,
Why don't you stop worrying about what he's doing or she's doing and worry about your own life and do something yourself?
aye.
But you can't say that now.
No, I totally agree.
That's what I think.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Like when people are doing something, let them get on with it. Is it affecting you? No.
Exactly.
Let them get on with it.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% behind you. on
He's
that
going to
one.
be a politician. He's going to be mayor of Bradford next week.
Liam Evans. If you could change anything about the TT as an event, what would it be?
Aye.
The weather.
I move it. Yeah, did you ever remember that TT World Series thing?
Yes.
Is that, God, I wish that went. I
Yeah,
couldn't
it
afford
would've
to
been
do
good.
it. That
No,
would have
been
been
good.
unreal.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. No, I do what I don't know. I quite like. I still like the old schoolness. That's why I like the Southern.
Oh,
It's
so
ran
good.
in the old school way and things like that. But I'm a bit like old. I get stuck in my ways almost. I struggle to. What's that Weller advert where you struggle to break the mould? Is it?
Yeah.
Or VO5 or something? There's something in there.
Break them all.
This is a really good point. We kind of touched on it earlier about sort of aiming to win the senior TT, and then when you eventually did it,
Yeah.
and linking it with what happened with Tyson Fury, where he was aiming to beat Klitschko's whole life.
Yeah.
When he did it, there was almost a bit of an anticlimax, and the sort of come down from it.
Yeah, I know what you
struggled
mean.
with-
Yeah.
Did after winning it, did you struggle with any, like, you'd almost feel like you've achieved your life's goal, and sort of what next, or did you not?
Interesting.
No, I know what you say. There's a strange thing, and people are going about, is it depression, they say, and things like that. But I think racing's a strange one, isn't it? Because you know yourself, when you're in the moment and everything's so busy and you win a race, and especially like when the Isle of Man, everything is so hectic. And then obviously it just goes really quiet, and like it doesn't matter who I don't really know. I don't really think
TT
that.
Blues, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's in general. I think there's a. I don't know. That's a difficult one. But no, I just carry on as normal. I think.
Yeah, fair enough. And last one for now, skipping skid marks. What's the crack with the magnet and knowing your logo?
I don't know.
Really?
Hold on.
Is it an engineering link?
The Dean Harrison logo, and you're like, I have no idea. What?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it just looked cool. Don't you remember you used to play with them red magnets in science all the time?
Honestly, is it just
Literally
sort
from
of
science.
picked out of like random?
Yeah, it was Phil Dramfield at Paint Nation that sort of had the idea. He's like an artist. He's really good actually. He's good at painting helmets. He's really good.
He just went, fuck it, we're going to put a magnet on.
No, it's just actually, I used to drink bitter all the time and use like the John Smith's logo.
Ah, right.
But then you're like, nah, I can't get away with that, can I? John Smith's like, you can't have that. So I thought, I better change it slightly.
And
So, you know, in
lid's-
today's world, you don't like a copy out.
your lid's cool as well with the flag on.
Yeah, it's the Yorkshire Rose.
Yeah,
The
nice.
flag on. It's awesome.
I'll tell you what, do you know what, I was
Get off my yard.
I was up near Harrogate yesterday when I spoke to you on the phone.
Yeah.
And Richmond.
Yep.
And so beautiful around, like sort of little
It's nice,
places
yeah.
I've never been in. Is that still classed as North Yorkshire?
Yeah, I think it will be.
But
What? Yeah.
But like over the Yorkshire Dales, and it's so beautiful, like over there. And
And what you saying wrong with Bradford?
nothing.
Everything.
But yes,
Nick-
Have you
Swarf bins.
seen my view?
there's some mega places through Yorkshire, and I tell you what, I know your brother's just next door. Do you want to should we go and quick grab him and have a bit? He said he would come on for a bit.
Yeah, it would do.
And,
That's if he's still here.
What
time is it now?
That bike leaving might
That's
have
what I
been
thought.
him
Bike
earlier.
were leaving early. It might have gone now. What time we on? It's 12:30. Oh, he's gone. Look, I'm off.
Fair enough. In arcade, a quick one on that. Do you know when you're going out to say do a TT, and you know your brother's in the same race?
Yeah.
When, like for example, if there's a red flag and when you stopped, is your mind must go straight to like,
Oh yeah, you think where he is?
yeah,
Yeah, because I did like when I finished the senior, I waited for him to come back.
I remember. It's
You
quite,
do that?
quite a poignant.
Yeah, you
sort
do,
of
don't you? Of course you do. Like, it's like when went red flag now, and he riding the I don't know which race it was that red flag around 1,000 race, and you obviously wonder where he is. Now we're coming over the mountain, and then I could see him parked at the windy corner. You just catch it out straight away, don't you? But that is the thing. I think that's a natural thing, though, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it
Surely
is,
it would be. Yeah.
Have you had any scares in terms of like red flag where it has been him and he's been okay, but for like a
No,
sort of-
not at the Isle of Man. No.
Right.
No, not any road race really. It's pretty. Hopefully, Touchwood's pretty safe.
Do you give them tips and help them out where you can?
Yeah, of course do. Yeah, tell him out I know, really, yeah. But the difficult thing is, because my brother doesn't ride a lot. And you know yourself, if you don't ride, you're not going to go that fast, are you? Mm-hmm. You need to be on the ball all the time. So when your speed deficit's quite a bit different, you can only try and help somebody so much without saying... Do you know what I'm saying? You don't want to push somebody. Because if you start pushing somebody and then they crash, you feel like you'd feel bad, wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So of course I'll help him. If he's ever stuck with it, I'll help him with anything. I'd tell him out. Do you know what I mean? But it's just...
I know I'm not your brother, but would you help me? He's not even answering that. Like, no, get stuffed.
I would. Why would I not?
I know. I'm minded you. No, thank you very much.
And I think you
1:30 here I come.
You're well known in the paddock for being like a very, very approachable and very much. No, when we're talking about like sort of salt of the earth people, that's a way like say Whit would describe you on the commentary.
Yeah.
Do you ever struggle with the sort of the parallel life of kind of you're a family man and going to work and whatever, and then when you say go to the island and you're like a superstar and like the senior TT winner and everyone's desperate to get pictures and autographs?
Yeah, no, you do get that, don't you? Yeah, but that's the. It's a bit, you get stopped in Morrison's for God's sake. You get a local pub. You get it. It's just a.
When's the last time you bought a pint? When you're on the Isle of Man, when's the last time you bought a pint?
I'm not tight. I'll quite happily buy
I'm
the
not
beers.
saying that.
I had a couple of beers last night actually. Yeah. I went for a thirsty Thursday.
Good lad.
I can't remember last time I had a pint, and my old man goes, "Oh, we're going for a few beers." I went, "Do you know what?
Mint."
Our kid came as well. I says, "We'll go." So I had 2 or 3 beers last night and a game of pool.
That's proper, that,
so
isn't it?
Do you struggle with the fame side, or do you sort of enjoy it for what it is? Or?
I have a mental thing where I block everything.
Right.
I don't react. Have you ever seen me angry? Ever seen me? No, I can't compute bad things happening. I don't react to it. I don't even. I've seen all sorts of things, and I don't. You've got. I don't know. I have like 2 sides. Like my missus hates it because she says I'm the most emotionless person she knows. Because she's never seen me cry. Or I don't. I just. It's hard to explain it the way you are. I just don't.
Emotions were a wave.
No. When people say try emotionally, you get emotionally attached to something. Yeah, of course you get sad. Everyone has sad days and bad days, but I don't show it. I just get on with it because that's life. Whereas we live in a world now where people are going about depression and stuff like that. Everyone gets depressed.
Everyone gets a label.
Right, I get depressed. Right, but that's just a fact of life. And it's how the thing is nowadays. It's how people deal with it. But the problem is, I think social media fuels it. Do you know what I mean? Like people go like you just says, oh, you're so busy and you get all this sort of stuff, and then you're at work, you're doing this, and next thing you're shoveling shit in garden, you're doing this general stuff. Well, yeah, you do stuff, and then bad things happen. Everyone gets it. It's not going your own way at racing, for example, and you've tried your bollocks off and it's not going good. And like Glenn said the other day on that chat, thing about getting depressed. Well, everyone gets depressed. Mm-hmm. They must do. No one's happy all the time. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? There's days where you come to work and you think, you know what? I can't be asked. I don't want to do this today. Do you know what I mean? There's days where you go race your bike and you have a bad day and a good day. You can't be the best every day, can you?
No.
Some days are good day and some days are bad day. Sometimes you find it easy to ride. Some days it comes hard and you struggle with stuff. Whether it's a day-to-day life thing, whether it's a racing thing, whether it's a work thing, it's all the same. The problem is we live in a world where everyone's like, oh, everyone's afraid to admit that they do get a bit upset with stuff and they find things difficult. But I think everybody gets upset and depressed and finds stuff difficult. You just need to you've got to get on with it sometimes, haven't you? Just, grit your teeth a bit and grin and bear it and just don't, not that you don't have to show it, but some people do show it and I don't know, I think there's two people look too much into it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it.
No, you've explained it perfectly there.
I don't know how to explain stuff because whether it's friends, going out, general day-to-day life things, ringing somebody to talk, so all the rest of it, no one's got somebody there all the time. It's just, you just do it, don't you? You just get on with what you're doing, whether it's motorbike racing, working at Morrison's, whatever you do, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But I think people need to take a step back from what they're doing sometimes and just think, it's not that bad, is it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What else can you do?
I like the way when you said when you break down, you can always be in a worse position, and if you're
don't get wrong. Everyone thinks they can't be in a worse position, but when you look around the world, people are worse off than most people here.
Mm-hmm. You can always
agree more.
Exactly.
You can always find something that's worse off than you, but you can only piss with the cock you've got at the end of the day.
Yeah,
within reason.
I totally agree. Imagine being that last person on earth. I wonder who that is. You know when you think there's always someone worse off, and then I wonder if that other person. No, I'm just talking. You're right.
The thing is, sometimes you find things hard to explain, don't you? When it comes to everyone, like say, people says you have your good days, your bad days, but I don't know. It's hard to explain, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, it is.
Not every day is a good day.
Yeah. Wait, that's it.
And
philosopher.
I
Very
almost
philosopher.
feeling like ending on a very that's it. What is it?
Well, let's end on a high. What bar the Ducati poor bird Ducati ride one day around the senior TT? What else is on the bucket list for you? Because you've been doing a bit of enduro riding. You've done land to sea, and you've done this and done that. Sea to sky, whatever it is. So what?
I
else
quite
is
enjoyed that. I'd like to have gone and done that again this year, but it clashes. What else would I like to do?
This Dean Harrison's bucket list could be out.
It could be. What would I like? Do you know what? I'm quite sad, really. I don't know what I'd like to do. If you said to me, "What would you like to do right now?" I can't give you an answer. Tell you what I'd like to do. Find them fucking 5/10ths.
That's definitely all right. They'll definitely be ticking that off.
So
No bother at all.
I don't know what other things I'd like to do. But I'm going to enjoy riding this week. I like a bit of that. I do a bit of stuff like that. I don't really have any other hobbies, to be honest. Don't mind a bit of cycling now and again. That's it. But that's hard work, overrated. Isn't it?
The good thing about how hard do you train? I know. Let's not go down this route too often. But
I look like I train?
No, but you know what? No. Like,
course I do.
like bike. Yeah. So how you're hitting it 3 times a week, 5 times a week? Kind of
Yeah,
thing,
I go cycling, enduro riding, all them sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I think.
Just because, that's the thing. If it's not on Instagram, it didn't happen, kind of thing. We talked about that. And it's good.
Everyone now, every day, I'm at gym. You were there last week. Tuesday, you're at gym again. Fuck, he's at gym again. You follow somebody on Twitter or Instagram to see that they go to the gym every week, and you're like, mix it up a bit, mate. Well, you must do something else. You know what I mean? You've lifted the same weight at the same gym, the same time. Every week you're like, fucking Jesus. Do you know what I mean? There's the thing is with racing now, there's not a lot of characters, is there?
No.
Do you know what I mean? Everything is so robotic. You're like, yes, I had a fantastic race. It was great.
I think we need
characters.
We need characters,
yeah,
man.
Do you know what I mean? Everyone goes on about, I just think it's a bit...
Because it can be too sanitised, can't it?
100%.
Yeah, exactly. There's no... I don't know how to explain it. One of your known racing heroes is David Jeffries. There was a guy, drink beer, had a bit of crack. John McGuinness is very much like that. Let's just have a bit of fun with it. McGuinness is the best. Like, you speak to McGuinness now, and like some of the stories them lads used to go and they got Macau and racing, and they had the crack they had back in the day. And like
characters.
Perfect example, right? TT launch, right? Brilliant night. You go to the Isle of Man, you do the chat show on the stage, and everything's good, right? And they always put like a bit of an event on for you. There's food and all the rest of it, and it's a really good. I like going to the Isle of Man, even though when I'm not racing, it's just a nice place to be.
Yeah.
Right. And you go do that. You finish that. You go to the pub. Right. Have a few beers, all the rest of it. Half it, lads. Go sit in the hotel room. Don't they? And you're just like, wankers. You go back to the hotel room, have a wank. Right, whereas all the rest of us will go to the pub, a few beers, and you have a laugh and a general, like even John says to me, he goes, it's nothing like it used to be. If he went back, let's say 15 years, right, he says everyone would be having a good time. I'm not saying you have to go drink a load of beer and be stupid.
Go out,
but just mix it up a bit and have a bit of banter and things like that. Whereas they don't even do that anymore. It's like being like a recluse. I'll go do my chat show. It's been fantastic. I'll take my cycle bike with me and I'll cycle around the mountain and then I'll get up in the morning and I'll have a granola bar for my breakfast. And it's just like, mate, just be a man, or just yes. Not a man, because you shouldn't even say that. Just be a human being a bit. Stop living like a robot.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember the Ulster Grand Prix launch? The first one I went to, man, me and him were in a nightclub at like 4 a.m.
It's just been normal, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I don't drink a lot. I don't go out all the time. But you mix it up a bit, don't you? Whereas we live in a world nowadays where everyone's just... I don't know, it's full of squares, isn't it? I suppose. Like, fucking have a bit of banter about you, lads. Go do something stupid. Let's go, I don't know.
Wait, that's it.
That's what's missing, I think. Do you know what
Characters.
I mean? Yeah, exactly. That is it. Characters. There's no... Everyone nowadays, they're almost scared. They're reserved. It's like they're going to give something away, and you're like, what are you giving away? Mm-hmm. I don't want out for one, right? I'm fine. I can buy my own drink, right? But I don't get it.
Yeah.
That's the bit I think that's missing.
I think there's. I'll finish with this one. I think it's linked. So you go now for like say a good night out. You need to take 5 people from it's got to be from racing, but it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be a competitor. It can be, like mechanics
Past,
or
present,
whatever.
any.
Yeah.
So 5 people. Who would you take for like a proper good night out?
Oh, the thing is, though, I'm gonna miss somebody out here, and they're gonna call me a twat if they watch this podcast.
Who's
Take
the first 5
10.
that come to your head?
Yeah, well,
5 to
obviously,
10, go on then.
I'd take Gary Johnson, right? Alan, who used to work with us, he's a good laugh. Johnny's a good laugh. What else would I take? That's 4. Bobby, lads I work with are really good at night out. To be fair. That's why we get along so well. All my team's good at that. But yeah, no, there's a few little lads that still have a bit of crack. But
Yeah.
all the, I don't know. I think it's the younger ones in now, but they don't like they say they don't make them like they used to. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're very,
I couldn't agree more, mate.
I think you're
I
very
couldn't
much.
agree. I could not agree more.
You're on like a very similar wavelength to my mechanic piggy, like a sort of
There's no
like
there's-
an analog in a what's the thing, like
An analog rider
in a digital
age.
age where very much like traditional and
Well, no, because like I think with the training side of things, I believe you do need to train, don't you? You've got to be fit to do it. Riding the bike's hard, so I go cycling. I'll do all my riding, do things like that to keep generally fit, and I do, and I believe that you need to do nowadays. But there's got to be a flip side.
Mhm.
What is it? All work,
No play.
no
All
play
work.
makes Jack a dull boy, is it?
Yeah, damn right.
You know what I mean? It's one of them.
Damn
innit?
right.
Yeah.
You just-
Whereas it's a bit dull.
I
Like, for example, look at when you look at racing, right? For example, and you look back at Brands Hatch when Foggy were racing there. And look at when Whittam were playing in the Poor Boys, and look at that, and look
Proper.
at now. What's happened,
do you think you've skipped an era?
mate? I think I'm born too late.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think that's
Yeah, I do,
that's-
yeah.
I would
Even
love
the
to
music
be
shit now.
Aye.
Hey, well, all the music now is a copy of the 80s anyway, innit? But I mean, I just think.
Imagine being
Yeah.
there would
do
have
you,
been.
do you ever look back at something and you think, wouldn't you love to have been there?
in lots of respects there's yeah
Calls me a fucking MP.
you could go down lots of rabbit holes, but in lots of ways I think things are just changing for
The worse.
and
Yeah.
I think it's natural
Stuff
to
changes.
maybe-
Nobody will admit that now. No one says, "Oh, that's happened to you. That's worse."
Mhm.
Because nobody ever wants to be the fall guy. No one say, "Well, no one's got any bottle now to say, yeah, I made that decision. It were a shit one." I've made loads of mistakes. You know what I mean? Him that's done it all's done fuck all generally, as they say, don't they? You know what I mean? You need to make mistakes to learn from your mistakes,
yeah.
and then change it and try something else. But no one now is man enough to admit they're wrong.
Mhm.
But anyway,
Dean Harrison for me. I'm putting that out there.
I'm gonna go for my local MP now.
No, good lad. Get it sorted, son. Get
Can I
it
just
sorted.
say, I know it's been a long time coming getting you on the podcast.
Thank you for coming on. Thank
So
you.
yeah, really grateful for your time. I know you're a very busy man, and thank
You'll
you.
be sending us the bill this.
No
Watch
stress.
this.
No, I'll have to come. Did you come? Is it a one-time only thing?
No, you can come on again.
We'll have to come again. And
Oh,
check
no,
it
we
out.
love this
We
crack.
need to give it a while. If stuff, we need another season that in the way.
Hey, end of season bash. No,
That's
we'll
what we
get
need.
you back on.
After
We'll-
the TT next year, we'll go. And
Right.
Once
I'm
you've
still alive.
added a few more, once you've added a few more wins to the
Right,
tally.
that's the
But
plan.
but yeah, massive thank you to our patrons and our sponsor Colchester Kawasaki, and good luck at your next
But
next
next
yeah,
weekend,
good luck.
you coming down, Dom?
I'm not. No, I'm at work, mate. I can't. By the way, Chris, I can't make
Was it
that
all work
setting.
makes Jack a Dom? Anyway.
I've got to pay me tyre bill, chaps. That's
All
the
right.
difference now. There you are. I need to get faster. There you are. I need to get faster. But
Well,
yet again, Dean, seriously, thank you for coming on.
No,
and
it's no
thank you.
stress. Thank you.
very
Good
much.
luck for your next race.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Take care. Thank you.
Click, buy, deliver. With remote purchasing from the 2-time Motorcycle News Dealer of the Year, Colchester Kawasaki. Proud sponsors of Chasing the Racing.